What we want 600 video. Um, I couldn't even recap this shit for y'all. I don't even remember what happened. We watched this shit like 3 weeks ago. We're only 2 hours in.
It's clear from a Twitter dispute between 051 Melly and Manny 600.
Nice you fast, I know, man.
Responsibility for this murder. Ultimately, 600 had many enemies in the neighborhood.
Right, that shit right when the intro's over.
In both the streets as well as in drill music, which was becoming.
Bro, it's just like I just remember hella murders, bro. Look at this shit. Look, the murder of Baldy, the murder of D Thing, the murder of Lil Steve, the murder of Jizzle, T Street, Tutu, Shaq, Fathead, and Tricks. Now I'm about to get in the murder of LA.
An increasingly
just bodies.
Part of the
I don't even remember how he died.
This is undoubtedly partly due to the national and even global breakthrough of drill music.
What's the best serial?
600 members.
Nah, this is the best serial, bro. It's like two combined.
4th of November 2012, prominent 600 member LA Capone would try his hand at music, releasing his first music video for the track Work, a song which shows LA's talent for rap with his confident delivery and immaculate flows, something he would continue honing into 2013. However, 600 weren't the only people making music, and over time, their various ops would also be making songs and dragging 600 members in their lyrics. In late November, Dusky the Man from MOB released his diss remix to Chief Keef's classic song Love Sosa, a track titled Hate Sosa. And in the song, Dusky disses 600, rapping that he can't wait to catch D Rose and that he's going to knock over the bricks, a reference to their earlier name Brick City. Going into 2013, the members' efforts in the music scene would begin to pay off.
It truly
seemed that 600
would
become the biggest thing in Chicago drill. Unfortunately, right as things were beginning to take off musically, the war in the streets would ultimately end up claiming the life of 600's most talented rap prospect. In 2012, Chicago drill music had exploded after Chief Keef, one of the BD-affiliated rappers hailing from both O Block and Front Street, released a string of hit songs. On March 6, 2012, Keef released his breakout track, I Don't Like, ultimately going on to land at 93 on the Billboard Hot 100 and getting an all-star remix from Kanye West and going double platinum. With this track, Keef put Chicago drill, essentially gangster rap 2.0, on the map, and for members of 600 who were allied with the BDs from O Block and Front Street, this windfall of attention represented a huge opportunity. 2013 would be the year 600 would begin to make serious noise in the Chicago drill scene. Members like E-Day, S-Dot, as well as Young Famous, and the rest of the Bezel Boys had all been dropping drill music consistently since 2011, while members like Buka, Rondo, and C-Day.
How the fuck do you make a 6-hour video off of Reddit, bro? Like, this man, Traplo Ross, just like, bro, was on Reddit making notes and just like made a 6-hour video of all this. And he dropped this a month ago. Then a week ago, he dropped a fucking 3-hour video on Alabama. Like, what the fuck?
Dabbled with the genre also since 2011. In 2012, particularly E-Day had become the face of 600 in the music scene, even getting Chief Keef to feature on the remix of his song Gucci. With that coming right as Chief Keef was absolutely blowing up with his track I Don't Like. But at the end of 2012, another prominent 600 member would also begin rapping. That member was LA Capone, who together with his best friends like Rondo Number 9 and Tay 600 would take the hype around 600 to the next level coming into 2013. In January 2013, LA Capone would release his first hit and one of the most classic examples of Chicago drill in its prime, the song Murder. In the video, someone even holds up a sign with the names of a number of gangs that were seemingly allied in the streets and now in the music. O Block, where Chief Keef hails from.
Bro. Motherfuckers making fucking posters about the fucking
OTF, the name of Lil Durk from Ramron's collective, as well as Baldy World, another name for 600, and Front Street. This showed that LA Capone and 600 were getting support from all the local hoods with some of the biggest up-and-coming drill stars. So LA would be in prime position to become the most famous rapper coming out of 600. The song Murder itself was a hard-as-nails drill anthem with a hook where LA pretty much lists all of the minor indiscretions that could get you murdered in his hood. Murder painted a stark picture of the deadly lifestyle of a gang member in the streets of 600. And if LA's tweets were anything to go by, his lyrics rang true, as he would tweet in March that you have to commit a murder to be a true 600 member like him and all of the other members that he tagged. However, there's been intense debate about who it was LA might have murdered, with no particular body being identified after all of these years. But regardless, LA remained very active in music during this time, and it's clear to see he had ambition to be a star in drill. Just 6 days after he released Murder, LA released his track Face Down with Rondo Number 9. This will be another street anthem celebrating murder and the gang lifestyle. But unlike Murder, however, Face Down would see Rondo Number 9 making pointed disses towards 600's ops, 051 Young Money, and murdered Jaro City member Tutu. The pair would later become a dynamic duo in music, releasing many classic drill songs together. Next month, LA Capone released a posse cut featuring S-Dot and Rondo Number 9 called Grindin', another murder anthem.
Man, Rondo is fucking mohawk look crazy.
Released a posse cut featuring S. and Rondo number 9 called Grind It, another murder anthem with lyrics about 600 members being savages and scoring on their ops, leaving them dead. In March, LA would follow this up with the song So Loud, a departure from the murder anthems he dropped before, this time being a more melodic auto-tune track with a more uplifting style. LA was showing versatility on the mic that was rare in Chicago, that was mainly being showcased at the time by the biggest stars in drill, Chief Keef and Lil Durk. But during this period, LA's work rate was unmatched, because only a day later, he would drop the next music video for the song Shooters with Rondo number 9, another gangbanging anthem that saw Rondo shouting out the many shooters in 600. It was arguably Shooters that would help make Rondo, with his distinctive raspy voice, a name to be reckoned with within the drill scene. In the track, he would diss members of 069 Brick Squad set, including P. Rico and Lil Jojo, who had started the so-called BDK movement the previous year, before tragically being killed soon after. On June the 10th, 2013, 600 would also drop their first official group anthem, the track 600, featuring E-Day, LA Capone, S. and Rondo number 9, together with a music video that begins with a jail call message from D. Rose, who was locked up at the time, and includes cameos from numerous 600 members, 600 Breezy, Huncho Hudo, Just Blow, Tay 600, Young Famous, and many more, as well as O-Block members like Boss Top and J Money, who would unfortunately end up losing his life later that year. Many fans of drill can at least attest to the waves that 600 were making this year and the influence their presence at this time would have had in rap for years to come, with many calling this period in 2013, where so many famous members were alive and releasing music, as the golden age of Chicago drill, with people reflecting on this period as 600's musical prime. For example, one of the most famous rappers of the late 2010s, 6ix9ine, went on record to say that Rondo number 9 was actually the reason he started rapping.
Yo, you know what's crazy? Yeah. The person who made me start rapping was Rondo number 9.
Nah.
I swear to God.
And it would be amid this hype that LA Capone and Rondo number 9 would drop their biggest hit on July the 30th, 2013, uploading the video for their collaboration track Play for Keeps, which today has over 60 million views. This high-energy anthem has been named as one of the best Chicago drill songs of all time by many people. And it was this song that really cemented LA Capone as well as Rondo number 9 as potential superstars of the Chicago drill scene, with the music video itself even featuring a cameo from arguably the future biggest star to ever emerge from Chicago's drill scene, Lil Durk. Leading into September 2013, 600 had all the momentum in the now booming Chicago drill scene, and together with their serious street reputation, they now had numerous talented rappers. And for a relatively small set, they were clearly ahead of most of their Chicago contemporaries, scoring millions of streams with their songs. LA himself was seemingly destined for stardom and had the perfect opportunity to make it out of the streets and strike it big as an artist. However, unfortunately, one fateful night at a studio, everything would change. On the 26th of September 2013, LA Capone, together with his good friend and fellow rapper JB Bin Laden, who LA shouted out in his debut single Work, where he raps, "Dare someone try me, I'll be with a shooter, yeah that's Lil JB." Now these two were together at a recording studio on South Stony Island Avenue in the South Shore neighborhood. Eerily, just months prior, Wooski from STL-EBT, an enemy of 600, had previously tweeted at LA warning him to be careful when he's with JB. Footage would later circulate from the studio, showing LA's last moments, recording a song that would later become the track Brothers, a blockbuster collab with LA, Rondo number 9, and Lil Durk. But just before 7 p.m, LA would end up exiting the studio from the rear, walking into an alleyway. Unbeknownst to him, waiting in that alleyway were two gunmen, who would open fire, hitting LA twice. LA Capone, real name Leonard Anderson, would be transported to the Northwestern Memorial Hospital in downtown Chicago, about half-hour drive from the studio, where he would ultimately be pronounced dead at 8:30 p.m. Tay 600 would later recall on his YouTube channel getting a call that night about what had happened. Tay would apparently call Lil Durk, who would go on to post a get well message to LA on Twitter 56 minutes after the shooting, and Tay and Durk would apparently head to the hospital together, but unfortunately when they arrived, they would be met by a doctor covered in blood who informed them that LA had unfortunately not survived the shooting.
Doctors come out. It's two detectives and it's a doctor. And the doctor, had so much blood. I can't remember if it was a boy or a girl doctor, but the doctor had so much blood, like, on they, you know what I'm saying? Like, on they, like, they work. Like, I'm like, damn. Dirk Tapper, he like, one more. They coming out like they finna say folks dead or something. They ass tweaking. Whole time they was finna tell us he ain't make it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even thinking about it at this time, but they about to let us know folks never made it.
It would be later reported that LA had actually been just minutes away from the University of Chicago's Trauma Center for Youths, but he was denied treatment as he had just turned 17. In an interview with 16 Shot and Visuals, JB Bin
I was really about to say that, bro. Why is the hospital 30 minutes away, bro? You telling me, bro, I swear I him. Bro, we was just talking about this shit last night, bro. You telling me this man gonna get in the hospital, bro? This man is got life-threatening injuries, bro. And they denied him, bro.
Bin Laden would give it extra insight into the day that LA was killed. It would seem that LA was truly at the cusp of superstardom, as he had been telling JB that he was supposed to be meeting with Atlanta legend T.I. very soon.
He kept telling me that he's supposed to be meeting T.I. So flying to Atlanta with Dirk and meeting T.I. and like that. This what he used to be telling me, like for like around the time. He telling me, like, man, I'm finna fly out, meet T.I. He was flying out at this point. Like he had went on a couple.
Bro, I haven't really heard like no shit like that like often, but like it's not surprising type shit. Like,
show the Dirk.
Like I remember when the whole King Von shit happened in Atlanta, bro. This man Quando pulled up. Who was in the wheelchair? Was it Lil Tim in the wheelchair? He pulled up someone in a wheelchair. And they said, "Oh, wrong exit, wrong entrance. You can't come in here. You got to go around the building and shit." He's like, "Man, my man's is shot. What do you mean I can't come in the building, bro? Like, get a fucking doctor here. My man is shot."
This would also be confirmed by LA's sister on an Instagram live with Tate Capone.
Somebody said Dirk would have signed LA. Let me just set the record straight on that too. My brother wasn't no dummy. That's why he ain't let him just sign him. He had a whole record deal before he died. He was finna sign with T.I. and them. He would have never signed with Dirk for $100,000. What the f is that, a cop?
JB would also explain that witnessing LA's death was his first heartbreak and that he still suffers PTSD from it to this day.
That was like my real first like a heartbreak. I was really up behind that.
Nah, I still be grimy as hell, bro.
Like PTSD. That's where like that shit come from for me. Like, you know, that shit happened so fast when I was young, and it's like I said, my intuition was telling us not to go to the studio. So it's like we was wrong from the jump. You know what I'm saying? And it's like all that shit was eating me up, all type of shit. Like, I couldn't even, you know what I'm saying?
600 members would be devastated by the loss of one of their most prominent and talented members. Rondo would pay tribute in an IG post and on Twitter. E-Day would tweet that LA's legacy would live forever, and many 600 members were seen wearing RIP LA Capone shirts in Rondo No. 9's new song Life of a Savage. Other people close to LA would also pay their respects, like Trey Savage from Chief Keef's Glow Gang, as well as Lil Durk himself, who along with Rondo would record a new verse for the song Brothers, the track LA was working on moments before his death, with that track releasing on Christmas 2013 as a tribute. According to police reports, LA's killing would at first seem like a hard case to solve, as there were no working security cameras and the area was mainly surrounded by abandoned buildings. There was also a few witnesses who had directly seen the events take place, other than LA's friend, who could only provide a limited description of the shooter's appearance. However, that didn't stop 600's many ops from dissing LA and celebrating in the aftermath of his death, including prominent rivals from STL like KI and FBG Duck, with guys like MOB Nut even implying that it was time for MOB to kill even more 600 members. Ultimately, little less than a year after LA's death, the detectives would suddenly have a breakthrough, when a man known as Michael Mays, better known in the streets as 051 Rocco or Rockhead, would tell them that he had witnessed the killing firsthand and that he knew the perpetrators personally. This initial interview, where Mays would implicate another 051 member called Lil Mick, real name Saki Hardy Johnson, and a man named Mako Buchanan, would put into motion a series of tell-all interviews by Johnson, Buchanan, and Mays, where each person would try and outmaneuver the others. In a subsequent interview, Mays would allege that Johnson had later bragged about shooting LA Capone in the face when both shots had in fact been in the lower body. Johnson, on the other hand, alleged that Mays may have been involved in the killing of a female 051 member called Big A, real name Amanda Fitch, who had actually been with the trio at the time of the killing of LA Capone. Johnson would also claim that it was Mays who told him that LA Capone was at the studio making a diss song about him, and that he had initially refused to go with the others when they told about their plans to kill LA until somebody brought up 600 being responsible for the murder of Fathead. He would finish his recollection of the events by stating that the killer had been either Mays or Buchanan, but Johnson hadn't actually witnessed the shooting, as he had simply waited for the others in the car. Buchanan would apparently begin his interview cautious and apprehensive. However, a meal from
nut on you
seemed to put him at ease, because Buchanan would then proceed to come up with not one but two different scenarios about what had happened that night. In the first scenario, Buchanan claimed that he had heard rumors of the deceased woman named Fitch being responsible for the killing. However, it seems then that Buchanan may have later realized that this version of the events didn't seem believable to the detectives, as he would then come up with another version of the events where it was in fact Johnson who had pulled the trigger. But despite their efforts to cooperate, all three would eventually all be tied to and convicted of the murder. Johnson, aka Lil Mick, was indeed determined to have been the shooter, and he would receive the longest sentence with a total of 60 years. However, in 2021, he would get a partial legal victory, as it was deemed that he would get a resentencing, likely shorter than the original 60 years. Buchanan, meanwhile, would end up getting a total of 45 years. He would also appeal, but that was denied. And Mays, who was the first to offer detectives information about the murder, would get the lightest sentence, but still being hit with a whopping.
So why the fuck did he snitch? He got sentenced too.
24 years. And after the trio had been caught, Reddit users on Chiracology actually found social media posts of Johnson, aka Lil Mick, getting his dreads cut around the time of the murder. Apparently a common move in the aftermath of the shooting to get rid of any gunpowder residue out of the long hair and to change their image to throw off the police. Lil Mick could also be seen on Twitter the day after the murder, taunting 600 and LA Capone and claiming that 600 needed a new name for their block, such as LA World, similar to other neighborhoods when a fallen member dies. Driller from 051, on the other hand, would tweet what LA's last words had supposedly been. No. Commenters on Reddit argued that it would have been very likely that the trio would have gotten away with the murder had it not been for Mays, aka Rocco's cooperation. Interestingly, before the arrest for the firearm in 2014, which led Rocco to cooperate, he was a top-ranking member from 051 and allegedly had been involved in 3 murders, being seen as 051's top killer at the time, as well as being noted as a top
So dude got bodied in the streets, got caught with a gun, instantly folded in there?
10 shooter by the Chicago police, with commenters alleging that he may well have been the murderer of both LA Capone and OTF Newski, Dirk's cousin. Rocco had been taunting LA online the very next week, throwing up LA hand signs. He also posted a slew of disrespectful tweets regarding LA's murder. Interestingly, the online detectives on Reddit's Chiracology have also seemingly solved who made the original call, giving up LA's location and setting him up. This would allegedly be another rapper by the name of Hard Knock, who is affiliated with the 757 Gang Alliance in the low end, who on the other hand were at the time heavily affiliated with 051. According to this long and elaborate theory that appears very well sourced, Hard Knock was at the studio at the same time as LA and JB, and he would end up calling Rockhead to come to the studio to smoke some dope with them, which would in reality end up being a setup to kill LA. LA Capone's death was a huge loss, not only to 600, but to the whole drill scene. His music career had seemingly been on a steep rise in 2013, and many were expecting him to be the next big rap superstar to blow up from Chicago. LA Capone's rap career still had a massive impact on the world and left a big legacy to be remembered. New York drill legend Pop Smoke would tweet in 2014 that LA Capone was his favorite rapper, likely inspiring the future Brooklyn.
Oh fuck! This old ass fucking Twitter post. And they got the, and that's a crazy image. That's when Pop Smoke used to play basketball. I didn't even know this was
drill star to start rapping himself. In his short-lived career, LA Capone created many hit songs that would become classics in the Chicago drill scene, with 600 Breezy believing that at just age 17, LA would likely have been the biggest artist from Chicago if he remained alive. He even had his own connections with massive future stars such as G Herbo, as LA actually went to school with him, something that G Herbo later shared in a tribute post to LA on Instagram.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, that's what, like, I think LA and Young Pappy would have been like. I think Pappy would have been on Dirk's level, and I think LA would have been on her.
And I love her too. I got to do couple.
Even though LA like resembles Dirk's music more.
Too. Yeah.
And Pappy resembles her shit. I think they would have been
ultimately. The story of LA Capone went down as one of the most tragic wastes of talent in Chicago history. The aspiring rap rookie could truly have been one of the greats. But ultimately, it was his ties to the streets of 600 that both inspired his music, the greats. But ultimately, it was his ties
that shit dirty as fuck,
to the streets of 600.
All them people touching that paper and you fucking got that shit in your mouth.
That both inspired his music as well as inspired his enemies to take him out. And unfortunately for 600, LA Capone's murder was only the first of many disappointing setbacks that ultimately proved that no matter how much talent you have, if you make one wrong move in the streets of Chicago, everything could be over in an instant. But for other members, it would ultimately wind up.
I swear, when I was like watching the Chicago shit, bro, I'm like, how the fuck does anybody in Chicago just walk out of the house and you in the streets and you don't got anything, bro? You just naked. I never understood that shit, bro. Cause I'm hearing motherfuckers getting stood over, getting fucking 30 shots into them. I'm like, bro, I swear to God, bro. Every time you leave that crib, bro, if you naked, you fucking, that's your life.
That being on the other side of the gun would be the misstep that led to their downfall. And going into 2014, numerous 600 members with potentially bright futures would slip up and crash out, throwing away the opportunities that they had to finally get out of the street life, ultimately winding up facing decades in prison. After the death of L.A. Capone, 600 members would be devastated, but ultimately nothing would stop the gang's activities in the streets. While the murders they were committing were grabbing headlines, the music they were releasing was racking up YouTube views, and soon members would wind up getting more attention than they bargained for. Rondo No. 9 had gained a reputation as a violent loose cannon off the back of his drill songs with L.A. Capone. He'd also collaborated with Lil Durk and DJ Victorious on the track We Don't F Around, a song which featured Rondo and Durk referencing the loyalties between their crews OTF, 600, O-Block, and 300. Rondo had also dropped one of his biggest hits, a remix to the P. Rico song Hang With Me, which was notable for its extensive disses aimed at Tuka, the 15-year-old GD who was killed in 2011, as well as shouting out infamous O-Block shooter T. Roy and claiming that they go on drills together. Rondo was picking up steam in the rap game, and he went on to release a string of anthems after LA's murder, in many ways picking up the torch of 600's most buzzing rapper from his fallen friend. One infamous track was the disturbingly titled song Taliban, where he appeared to compare his gang activity on the streets to that of the major terrorist organization. Released on October the 7th, 2013, the song would also include pointed disses at dead ops like Fathead, and the video featured menacing scenes where 600 members would dance around with an array of high-powered weapons, including one particularly terrifying MAC-10 submachine gun. This gun would feature prominently in many videos and pictures associated with 600 members, and it became infamous amongst fans, being referred to as the 600 Mac. This would eventually cause fans to make compilations of all the times this infamous gun was actually present in 600's music videos and social media posts. Tay Capone would mention the Mac in a live stream where he claimed that he got the gun in 2012 and that people were still showing it off in 2017 when he got out of jail, and claiming that the gang had put in maximum work on their ops with this gun.
Man, that shouldn't
work. No way, bro. No way. I'm like, if they passing that bitch around so much, bro, they can't be using that bitch. There's no way they use it.
That got dropped off to me in my hands, and all that was in 2012 or 13, and I seen four of them still toting that 2017 when I got out the joint. Some guns you gotta let go, bro. Especially when we
if you're not cleaning them bitches, bro, them bitches got
already had put in a maximum amount of work with that.
Things like this were making 600 infamous, and the hype would continue as Rondo and other members would continue to release high-profile songs, like his November the 26th collab with Lil Durk, Ride. However, at the end of
Rondo had that fucking bazooka, bro.
2013, it would be more than music that had Rondo's face going viral in Chicago, as in December 2013, Rondo would post a photo on his Instagram that would become one of the most legendary images in Chicago drill history. In the photo, Rondo can be seen holding up an anti-tank rocket launcher, or as fans would refer
how the fuck you get that bitch, bro?
with an RPG, rocket-propelled grenade launcher. This is like a weapon straight out of Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto, and something a lot more at home.
Bro, I remember fucking academics video on this shit,
in a
bro.
real war zone like Iraq or Afghanistan, with something like this truly making sense of the fact why they call Chicago Chirac. The photo itself would go viral on social media, reinforcing the image of 600 members as real savages who practiced what they preached and really waged war in the streets. However, it also caused a major alert.
Bro, imagine you pull up to the Oz block with a fucking RPG and just blow up a house.
For the local police department, an investigation would be carried out immediately after, as a literal wanted poster would circulate among Chicago police gang units, explaining that they believed that rocket launchers were actually circulating among Chicago gang members, posing a genuine danger to the public, with pictures of the weapon and Rondo's own mugshot displayed prominently in a wanted style poster that went around. In the
involving Lamron,
the weapon and Rondo's own mugshot displayed prominently in a wanted style poster that went around. In the aftermath of this incident, the photo itself was swiftly removed from Rondo's Instagram, but by then it was too late. And while the image was going viral, Rondo would tweet an angry message where he would deny the weapon or the photo was even real. But luckily for Rondo, it would appear that the investigation was closed with no leads or arrests regarding that specific weapon. But later in an
we're talking about hashtag WTF.
It appeared that the investigation was closed with no leads or arrests regarding that.
Okay, you gotta get out the fucking, you hop out the car, you had to take a knee, post up with it, and shoot it. What the fuck? They hop back in the car with it.
That specific
you weapon. Are not doing
later
that.
In an unreleased snippet from his Instagram, Rondo would even mention that his house was actually searched or visited by federal investigators following this incident. And the next year, Rondo would reference the situation in his song Trust Myself, where he claimed that the incident actually brought him a lot of publicity. This would become an infamous moment in Chicago drill, with many viral videos being made about the situation, garnering millions of views. Years later, Mimo 600 would pay homage to Rondo, posing with an RPG in a gun store himself. Media
bro.
antics such as these not only contributed to the image of 600 as one of the most savage sets in Chicago, but it also enforced the image of Chicago as a real war zone. Coming into the turn of the year, the hype around the Chicago drill scene was reaching its peak, and at the time, the term Chirac was being used heavily in the media, as the media was creating narratives about the violent death toll in Chicago being higher than the amount of US soldier deaths in the military conflicts in places like Afghanistan and Iraq. However, in fairness, as many news outlets would also point out, such hyperbolic headlines were actually largely distorting the reality on the ground. The point that they were making was that Chicago was in fact only the deadliest city in America in total homicides, but in per capita terms, it didn't even make the top 10 most violent cities. Therefore, the implication appeared to be that the violence in Chicago was slightly overblown if you were looking at it on a per capita basis. But that just goes to...
And per capita is like deaths to like people living in the city. So it's like if there's a little city with hella murders, they would have a higher per capita. But like Chicago, just because it's like the top 5 biggest city in America, they have the highest murders. But there's shit like Flint, Michigan, they got less people in their city, less population, but not as much murders as Chicago, but more per capita.
That the violence in Chicago was slightly overblown.
Yeah, per 100,000 population. 2,500 deaths per 100,000.
If you were looking at it on a per capita basis. But that just goes to show you...
What else is up here? Detroit, Oakland, St. Louis, Memphis. Yeah, these are all just normal shit. Stockton, Birmingham, New Haven, Baltimore, Cleveland.
Violence in Chicago was slightly overblown if you were looking at...
What the fuck people doing in Flint, Michigan? Man, in 2012, wasn't that their water shut off and shit? They had dirty water. They didn't have fresh water to fucking drink. What else are you supposed to do, bro?
At it on a per capita basis. But that just goes to show you how powerful the antics of drill rappers were during this time. The symbolic shock of seeing a drill rapper toting an RPG straight out of the US military arsenal was hard to ignore, and it had the whole of America terrified of Chicago's streets. However, make no mistakes, whilst other cities were indeed deadlier than Chicago on a per capita basis, certain areas of Chicago, like the South Side where 600 reside, and the more...
Bro, that shit was crazy, bro. And Flint still don't got like clean water. Bro, they shit was brown, bro. I've seen that shit come out, they false it on like a video in like fucking 2012. I'm damn. What the fuck are they supposed to do? They motherfuckers pulling up to their block with fucking cases of water. How the fuck am I supposed to take a shower with no clean water, bro? How the fuck am I supposed to go to school dirty as fuck? That shit's crazy, bro. Go to work dirty as fuck. I just worked a construction job, came home from 8 hours, and I got to do it in brown water, bro. That shit was crazy, bro. I don't know how that shit even like lasted, bro.
Violent but less infamous west side of the city are in fact still setting records for concentrated violence. And while the year of 2014 would actually turn out to...
Yeah, bro, I'm gonna walk. Flint, Michigan water instantly popped up. Look, bro, that shit is fucking crazy.
The images of the water are shocking enough.
Would you drink that? People have dumped in this.
Look at that shit, bro. They think that shit clean. That shit ain't even...
River forever. It's
they don't think that shit...
Cesspool.
My tub, it's just it's brown.
And then come the headlines. An American city failed to provide basic protections to its citizens, and now the children of Flint have much higher than normal levels of lead in their blood.
I put it in Discord.
Governor of Michigan, has apologized.
I am sorry, and I will fix it.
President Obama declared a national emergency.
You can't shortchange basic services that we provide to our people.
Come on now.
And now 2016 presidential candidates are starting to weigh in.
The governor of that state acted as though he didn't really care.
Lead poisoning is terrible and terrifying. No amount of exposure is safe. And there's evidence that years after we got it out of paint, gas, and more, it
paint, gas, and more, bro. How the fuck that even get in there, bro?
Like,
that just ain't just like bad pipes, bro. That's like more shit. Like people throwing shit in there.
Services that we can no longer provide in the city.
And they decided the city
ain't time to vote, yep.
could save money.
We got fucking one of the candidates, Donald Trump, that's supposed to be president. He's about to get fucking locked up.
On water.
He said, I don't even care, bro. Just lock me up, bro. I'll do the time.
Would stop buying water from Detroit and join a new regional water system.
Hang on.
Services that we can no longer provide in the city.
And they decided the city could save money on water. Flint would stop buying water from Detroit and join a new regional water system. And as a temporary measure, Flint would use water from the Flint River. The switch happened in 2014.
Here's the Flint.
And who decided to do this exactly is under intense debate. But regardless of blame, the story gets worse.
Bro.
Residents saw and tasted the dirty water and started complaining.
Water's brown, has a bad odor. I'm afraid to even feed it to my cat or my dogs. We should not have to.
Bro, I swear, so I feed Vito my fucking water, bro. I still don't trust that shit, bro. I'm not even from Flint.
Pay for the water is.
But like, just tap water in general, bro, is just bad, bro. Like drinking wise, bro. Like, I used to drink that shit as a kid, but now I'm older. Like, I could tell the difference, bro. I could drink fucking tap water. It like make my throat hurt. Pause.
Nasty.
But the city claimed federal tests showed the water was safe. An employee at the Environmental Protection Agency leaked a Michigan report to a local activist, which showed the water had higher than normal.
Oh, we're not even talking about the kids that were drinking that shit, bro. There's like, bro, the lead poisoning they got in their head, bro. They are fucking like, they lost brain cells and shit, bro. They stupid as fuck.
Lead levels. The city's response. Flint told the woman the lead came from her plumbing. It took an outside investigation by Virginia Tech researchers that found elevated lead levels in the water.
Bro, look how brown
an outside
this shit
investigation by Virginia Tech researchers that found elevated lead levels in the water for the state to admit there was a problem in September 2015.
So the corrosion's eating up the pipes, it's eating up the iron pipes, it's causing main.
That can't be all, bro. Just pipes, bro.
September 2015.
So the corrosion's eating up the pipes, it's eating up the iron pipes, it's causing main breaks, it's causing discolored water. In about 20% of the homes, there's just too much lead.
In October 2015, the government bought water filters.
And working, by the way, if you click it, says invite valid. Hang on. I hear that. Pin it. Yikes.
For its citizens and switched back to water from Detroit. Before all this, 2.1% of the city's children had high blood lead levels. After, it was 4%. For kids under 5 in the most affected zip codes, it was 6.3%. Why did Flint poison its citizenry? Under emergency managers from the state, it wanted to save money. To start to reverse the effects will cost dearly. Just switching back to Detroit's water cost $12 million. Damn. A class action lawsuit against the city is pending. And join a...
So basically, Flint got their shit from Detroit. They wanted to switch it by saving money and going straight from Lake Huron? How the fuck you say that? So they couldn't do this automatically. So instead of just like staying and getting their shit from Detroit until this shit was finished, they wanted another source of water. And that's getting it from the river. And when they got it from the river, it just fucked everything. Wait, look. It's not like it, bro. I know he sent it twice too. I'm like, the first time they deleted it, and then the second time they banned you. Where the fuck is this? Okay.
Be the safest in decades in the wider Chicago. In the neighborhoods around Washington Park, the war would reach a boiling point. So even if you didn't think the city of Chicago was anything like Iraq, the boys from 600 were living in a true Chirac war zone, and the savages that ran the streets there were becoming increasingly violent as well as famous. In 2014, we would see things reach breaking point for 600, as some of their most famous and violent members would be hell-bent on waging war on their ops. But unfortunately for them, this time the authorities wouldn't be far behind. And for members like Rondo and C-Day, a small mistake would ultimately wind up seeing them losing everything in an instant.
Isn't C-Day calling Rondo a rat now too?
February the 21st, 600 members Rondo, real name Clint Massey, C-Day, real name Courtney Ely, K600, real name Jamonte Carpenter, and Lil Boo, real name Jerome Anderson, were at a party in an area called Murdertown. The party was located at
Murdertown is fucking crazy, bro.
Lil Boo, real name Jerome Anderson, were at a party in an area called Murdertown. The party was located at 39th Street and Wentworth.
Is that, okay, I'm about to say, is that like the actual area in Chicago, bro? Or like, that's like, you know, who'd be around
the Wentworth Gardens housing project, which was actually once considered to be the best public housing project in Chicago before the gangs took it over. As seen in the image taken on the night of the party, Rondo was actually wearing a very loud and easily identifiable tracksuit in a bright orange and black camouflage print. And in that photo, Rondo can actually be seen with a group of girls, some of whom were part of a female-led rap group called Pretty in Pink. Pretty in Pink were making a name for themselves in the early drill scene, releasing several songs and music videos, most of them filmed by the drill legend DJ Ken. This group would even get shout-outs from Chief Keef, and in their music videos and on their social media, they could often be seen hanging out with members of the BD sets around the Washington Park and Woodlawn areas, particularly 600 and O-Block. Some of them can also be seen making cameos in 600's music videos, such as 600 Part 2, and in their songs, they would even claim 600. On their social media, Pretty in Pink and 600 would use moniker P&P 600, and seemingly these girls quite literally identified as members of the 600 gang themselves.
Smoking, doink. See they ass, sleepy fool.
Yeah. Don't make me come kill you for my little sister. I'll kill you.
Good video right here.
This group included girls like Hannah, who was one of the main rappers of the group, even making tracks with Chief Keef. She also made music under the artist name Big Pink, and in recent years under the artist name Han Win. The other main rappers were Marie, who at the time rapped under the name Marie Ballout, but has since released music under the new artist name Big Pink Riri, as well as Shady, whose song Go In was a hit in Chicago in 2011, with the music video standing now at over 1.5 million views. This music video would also end up launching the career of Katie Got Bands, who makes a cameo in the video toting a tiny handgun. And then
why are we talking about these fucking females? Am I tripping? Just because they was in a picture with Rondo?
And there's Amia, aka Lil Pink, who is actually D-Rose's sister, and Ray Ray, who is seemingly GBE Capo's girlfriend before his untimely passing in 2015, as well as many others. However, many of the members of Pretty in Pink were not from 600's hood, but were actually from the Murder Town area where this party was being held. Moreover, they certainly weren't the only girls who had been spending time with 600. According to court documents, on the night of February the 21st, 2014, 600 members would end up spending time with 3 other girls who were from the 600 neighborhood. At some point, Rondo and C-Day would leave the party with one of the girls in her van. Meanwhile, one or both of the girls still in the party would allegedly get into an argument with the members of Pretty in Pink, supposedly about a song that was being played. Perhaps this song was a Pretty in Pink song and they weren't fans. But during the argument, someone would shoot a gun in the air to try and stop the commotion. Now, the remaining 600 members, Tay and Lil Boo, would then leave the party with 2 girls, as well as Tay, who would allegedly make a call to C-Day telling him what had just happened at the party. However, Tay would later deny making this call.
These said that I called for them down there, bro. They say I called for them down there and had that happen, which was a lie. That's why that said it when she got on the stand, they locked her ass up.
So, the females were fighting and a motherfucker shot in the air. Like, that's gonna, like, de-escalate the situation. Oh, shit, he's shooting. Like, bro, I feel like that's only gonna escalate it, bro. Like, you got guns, someone else got guns.
When she got up there and lied, locked up for perjury. Mimo and them sister. Let's not forget that.
But soon after, they met C-Day, Rondo, and the third girl at a local Wendy's restaurant and headed back to Wentworth Gardens with a plan of carrying out a get-back attack on whoever had fired those shots. Documents would show that D-Rose was also present at this time and got in.
What? Wait, did I miss something? Was there more shots? Wait. As they argue, someone fired a gun in the air multiple times. Did not see who fired the shot, but she guessed that the shooter wanted to stop the argument because it was too loud. The gunshots did not hit nobody. That's why I said then they locked their ass up for perjury. She got out there and they locked her. So, motherfuckers shot in the air at a party to de-escalate the situation, and these motherfuckers bent back up at a Wendy's to fucking spin back because motherfuckers shot in the air. These motherfuckers got too much ego, bro. Too much pride. They got, bro. They pride is fucking crazy, bro. They shot in the air and motherfuckers trying to spin back like they really like hit somebody or something. But it could be on some shit like they just heard a shot and they know who shot. They don't know if they were shooting at them or what. They didn't see the gun in the air or some shit.
Mimo and them sister. Let's not forget that.
But soon after, they met C-Day, Rondo, and the third girl at a local Wendy's restaurant and headed back to Wentworth Gardens with a plan of carrying out a get-back attack on whoever had fired those shots. Documents would show that D-Rose was also present at this time and got into the same car as Rondo and C-Day. At this time, a man named Javon Boyd was waiting around the Wentworth Gardens area in his car as he had been dispatched for a job on his shift as a taxi driver. The car itself had no company livery or any indication that it was being used as a taxi at the time, so to the average person, this just looked like a normal car. The 3 vehicles carrying 600 members would make their way to 38th Street on Princeton Avenue, and here they spotted the idle car and noticed a man inside. The convoy then made a U-turn, and Rondo and C-Day would exit the vehicle and approach Boyd. Witnesses would then claim that they saw C-Day and Rondo open Javon's passenger side door and fire into the vehicle 4 or 5 times.
Everything about this shit just like pisses me off, bro. Like, this is like exactly what not to do, bro. You have too much pride. A motherfucker shot in the air and you just pulled up on an innocent, just trying to do his job that got nothing to do with nothing. And you open his passenger jail like you was about to open his shit and then shot him.
They would then return to their car and leave the scene.
Idiot,
However,
bro.
unbeknownst to them, they had just made a grave error in touching Boyd's car with their bare hands, where police would later find C-Day's fingerprint.
Oh my god. I'm like, no way they opened this man's door with no gloves, bruh. Oh my fucking god. And I know they didn't use no mask, bruh.
And to make matters worse for C-Day, he'd also, once again...
And they left their phone, bruh. And they left their fucking phone, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, I never looked into the Rondo shit, bruh. I didn't know anything about the taxi driver shit. That shit is fucking insane, bruh. You left your phone, you didn't use no gloves, you didn't use no mask, and you met up at a fucking Wendy's beforehand to talk about the shit, and you still fucked up. What the fuck? Are you fucking... You just want to sign a paper yourself saying you did it? So they basically killed an innocent, left their fingerprints, no mask, left their phone. Bro, they should just stay there for the cops, bro. They should have just stayed there for the fucking cops. Might as well.
His phone at the crime scene, this now being the second time that had happened. According to the girls, this was something...
Oh god, they left their shit the other time.
Seemingly in the process, also implying that he had indeed taken part in the murder of Fathead, during which he had previously left his phone in the van that was used in the murder.
Like, bro.
C-Day would then return to the scene with two of the girls. Once they would see that the scene had already been taken over by police, C-Day would then...
And they did all this because someone shot in the air to try to chill everybody out at the party. You gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. I ain't gonna lie, this is Crash Out 101, bro. Like, this is the first lesson, bro. We show them this drill. Because this shit is fucking sad.
Of the girls to try and retrieve the phone by talking to the cops.
And you didn't even need to grab his door.
That it belonged to her.
That motherfuckers opened the door because I didn't want to break his window type shit, but I wanted to kill him.
This would turn out to be yet another grave mistake, as that once they would see
what's another grave mistake?
Taken over by police, C-Day would then send one of the girls to try and retrieve the phone by talking to the cops and claiming that it belonged to her. This would turn out to be yet another grave mistake, as that girl would then proceed to give a false story about what had happened, as well as her real life.
Hey, bro, give me my phone over there. Motherfucker, she talked to the whole cops and told everything, bro. What the fuck? I understand why he tried to do it, though. That he tried to fix his error.
Then proceed to give a false story about what had happened, as well as her real last name and real phone number. The police would also record the license plate number of her car, and this encounter between the girl and the police would begin their efforts to locate her, which they would eventually succeed in, making her the first of 3 girls who would begin opening up to the police about the events of that night. Clearly the shooting was not pre-planned, and was ultimately carried out in such a sloppy fashion that it almost seems as if the culprits didn't care if they got caught. And to make matters even worse, the whole ordeal was caught on surveillance cameras, and due to the brashly coloured clothing the pair was wearing, it made them very easy.
No, bruh. No, bruh. This man popped out in his orange fit, his neon orange fit, opened a door, shot an innocent man, motherfucker dropped their phone on the drill. Oh my god, bruh. Oh my fucking god. This man, this fucking stupid, bruh. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Rondo one of them guys, bruh. Just look at him, bruh. I feel like he had like 4 or 5 teachers in his class. There was only a couple students in his shit, bruh. He was in the back of the short bus when he got drove home. That's what drove him to this shit. Because he had nothing else planned, bruh. This man is fucking...
Need to be identified on the recording. One of the girls would later tell investigators that C-Day had questioned the driver as to where he was from, and unfortunately Javon Boyd was actually from this neighborhood. However, according to Javon Boyd's...
Bro, what? Bro, where are you from? I'm from here.
While he'd been in trouble with the law when he was younger, he was...
Why the fuck are you shooting people you don't know, bruh? Like, that shit is stupid as fuck, bruh. Like, how the fuck you beefing with... Oh my god, bro. That shit is so fucking stupid, bruh. Like, you never seen this man a day in your fucking life. You used to ask him where he's from. He could be a fucking upstanding citizen. And y'all just shot him because he looked like you, bruh. This man, this shit is so stupid, bruh. How do you not... How do you not know who he is?
Simply just an honest man working 2 jobs.
2 jobs?
Me.
Come on, bruh.
That he was from that neighborhood that day.
My man worked 2
unknowingly sealed his fate, and by killing Javon in cold blood on the spot, just because of where he was from, Rondo and C-Day had also sealed theirs. Eventually, on the 7th of March 2014, Rondo number 9 would be arrested, and soon after, charged with the murder, followed by C-Day about a week later, with C-Day receiving no...
Wait, isn't Rondo coming home, in December?
At bail due to his prior
cases,
cases,
home by Christmas.
Rondo's bail was set
at
$2 million. And despite his now rich and famous friends like Lil Durk and Chief Keef, as well as Fredo Santana, Rondo would ultimately end up waiting for trial behind bars too. Following Rondo's arrest, DGF...
Not like it. That's like a fucking joke, bro. Because this man Durk, after fucking Rondo got charged with this murder, bro, he said he coming home in December. the same year.
Academics, who was making a name for himself with his War in Chirac YouTube series, would clown on Rondo by going through a number of seemingly self-incriminating tweets that Rondo had put out immediately following this murder.
God damn it, I know this kid's only 17, but how dumb could you be? Now
Don't sneak diss us or we're gonna come and kill y'all. What the fuck?
I gotta apologize in advance because I can't read this nonsense that these dudes are typing, all this bad hood vernacular. I can't really pronounce all this, but I'm gonna give it my best effort to enunciate some of this. I hate to be one of Rondo's number 9's associates on that day because
Lol, just smacked all the ass in slow-mo.
because he's tweeting everybody and everything, and he's probably incriminating them too. He tweeted a bunch at Lil Durk, and I'm guessing probably or hopefully Lil Durk wasn't involved, but he's tweeting him so much the cop probably has to investigate Lil Durk as well. He tweets out, "Don't sneak diss us or we will come and kill you." God damn it, getting a high off that gun smoke. God damn it. If this is the new stupidity level that's going on in these streets, I need to stay my ass in the house.
Meanwhile, the police investigation would find that the phone left behind by C-Day was damaged as it had been run over by a vehicle, but moreover, the phone had been remotely wiped. Meaning that if C-Day had just realized this possibility earlier and not sent one of the girls on a dummy mission to try and retrieve the phone from the crime scene, that girl may not have been identified and then captured by police, eventually turning to the witness that began the whole process of bringing down both C-Day and Rondo. The police would also identify C-Day and Rondo's gang affiliations, as well as their music.
Ah, hell no. Look at the YouTube videos they pulled up. They got the features on it and everything. OG Bobby Johnson freestyle. Damn, what y'all know about OG Bobby Johnson?
On YouTube, and they would even realize that Rondo had actually worn the same outfit he committed the murder in a music video uploaded to YouTube just a week before the crime. However, the case would soon take a turn that would end up almost breaking the whole of 600 apart, as rumors would soon begin to spread about somebody snitching in this case. Soon after Rondo and C-Day were brought into custody, the legendary Chicago scene news site
Wait. I was putting my fucking bowl of cereal up, bro. This man Rondo wore that same fit in a video that dropped a week before. This man love that fit, bruh. That fucking weak ass neon green tracksuit, bruh. Get the fuck out of here. Like, bro, what the fuck is wrong with
600 apart, as rumors would soon begin to spread about somebody snitching in this case. Soon after Rondo and C-Day were brought into custody, the legendary Chicago scene news site College Kid would post an article about Lil Reese denying online rumors that Rondo or C-Day were snitching. However, soon the rumors would begin circulating around another member, Tay600. Although at this point the fans weren't aware that Tay had allegedly been at the scene of the crime with Rondo and C-Day, one of the first to accuse Tay of snitching would be OJ from the 600 affiliated Lamron set, who in 2014 would send numerous shots from his now deleted Twitter account. Interestingly, OJ himself would receive snitching allegations years later when paperwork concerning the murder of Fathead would come out, with OJ being ironically accused of snitching on C-Day in that case too. But then, in June 2015, things began escalating quickly, as E-Day sent a cryptic tweet suggesting that somebody was no longer part of 600 due to them snitching, which the fans would quickly decipher was referring to Tay600, who would respond by vehemently denying allegations and seemingly dissing E-Day directly. Soon, other 600 members would chime in, with some seeming...
Like, bro, I don't understand this, bro. Like, I know I'm older, but like, bro, I just don't understand why motherfuckers just run to Twitter, bro. Motherfuckers telling me I'm not 600 no more. Let me just go on Twitter and defend myself. Like, what the fuck? Just pull up to the block, bro. Like, come on, bro. The motherfucker got me. I'm telling on 22, but I've never been subpoenaed. That's a crazy way to spell subpoena. To court. How? If I told 12 anything, I'd be booked. You can't tell me none less you was there with me, right or wrong. Low, nah, I'm fool, but I'm the shooter in your songs? How? I get on the internet and see saying anything every day. Play like y'all want to win and quit turning the ball over.
Denying allegations.
Bro, if I told 12 anything, I'd be booked.
And seemingly dissing.
I've never seen that shit. I'd be booked.
Soon, other 600 members would chime in, with some seemingly staying neutral, while others
like cool my granny.
Dissing E-Day directly. Soon, other 600
Coolin' with my granny. DM yo line. Bro, this man updating everybody on his fucking status of where he's at. Low, getting that dry CDM dough, bro. I'm off that, bro. On phone them. Where you at? Bro, get off Twitter with that.
Members would chime in.
As he says that shit on Twitter, yo,
with some
this shit is fucking
neutral,
crazy.
While others like Boss Move,
this man
Breezy would engage in Twitter beef.
This man fucking where's Waldo on Twitter talking about cool my granny, DM your line, and then he gonna get mad at fucking Tay for getting on Twitter. Bro, get off Twitter with all that.
With some seemingly staying neutral,
you update everybody on your fucking granny.
Breezy would engage in Twitter beefs with Tay.
Damn, I'm
seemingly staying neutral, while others like Boss Moo.
Lol, you crazy, bro. You know I want to do that to you. I don't even play with guns. You just not 600. Stop asking me about Tay. I never was shorty like that, and I don't know what's going on, and I don't got to say about it. I don't got shit to say about
Breezy would engage in Twitter beefs with Tay. Although at this point, Breezy would still...
At least he kept it 100. Exactly. I ain't seen no paperwork, so I ain't got shit to say on that. We both know we ain't snitch with each other, and that's...
He'll say that
we don't fuck with each other.
Haven't seen any paperwork on Tay. Meanwhile, the Chirac scorekeeper himself, the infamous Mubu Crump, would also weigh in on the matter, claiming that it was in fact C-Day who was snitching on Rondo.
And according to the Chirac scorekeeper Crump, he said this. He said, C-Day telling on Rondo. I hope he get out that jam. I ain't with the snitching. Rondo was always cool and respectful. Now, let's be clear. We're talking about the guy who's a domestic, the guy, the only savage to brand a weapon of mass destruction. Crump is claiming Rondo snitching.
Then, in 2016, things would really begin to heat up. In March, it was reported that the trial of Rondo and C-Day was being delayed due to an uncooperative witness. And rumors would then start to spread that one of these witnesses was Tay himself, who instead of cooperating, had actually gone on the run, with the US Marshals being deployed to locate Tay, eventually finding him with an illegal weapon. However, once again, information about his arrest would come out sparsely. Meanwhile, Rondo and C-Day's trial would move ahead, and on the 11th of March, it was reported that both had been found guilty and were facing 45 years to life, with 600 Breezy, who had apparently been at the court tweeting the bad news, while other members like Just Blow and S-Dot would react, naturally being devastated at this loss.
Steve, I don't want to
Breezy would also air out his grievances on Twitter with Tay600, calling
Tay a snitch, him and them on LA grave, you never should have been with us.
Him a snitch and blaming him for the outcome. At this point, pretty much everybody in or close to 600, including people like Lil Durk and Lil Reese, would begin to attack Tay for snitching.
I don't know if Tay snitch 600 snitching. I don't know about his snitch ass. I don't hang with him. Them not my homies.
However, Tay, who was still locked up...
Why the fuck he so aggressive, bro? Just answer the question.
Snitch ass. I don't hang with him.
Them I don't hang with him.
However, Tay,
not my
who was
homies.
Still locked up at this point, would once again come out and firmly deny any snitching allegations. In April, the Chicago drill vlog legend
you could just skip the comment. You didn't have to respond.
A jail phone interview with Tay, together with an explosive description of what Tay had allegedly told him during their full conversation. Although the clip itself would provide very little new information, besides Tay claiming that people were hating on him because he had been intimate with their girlfriends.
But I'm in this cooler, bro. I'm deep down the cooler. I'm just, man, I'm anxious. Right? Back out to the streets. I'm missing a lot of money, a lot of moves, a lot of food being fed. I need to hurry up, get out of the dress, clean this. Oh, BD. And this time I'm dropping all the juice. I'm gonna go back to white man to be from 2013 and 2014 when I was my baby mama.
But then in May, C-Day finally was sentenced, receiving a whopping 38 years. This was followed by the sentencing of Rondo in July, who would receive 39 years, just one more than C-Day. In August, DJ Academics would report that Tay, on the other hand, had received a 30-month sentence for a gun he was caught with when he was arrested earlier that year. Also in August, Say Cheese would drop their 600 Breeze gun he was caught with when he was arrested earlier that year. Also in August, Say Cheese would drop their interview with 600 Breezy, who would explain that he had seen the paperwork and that Tay had given a statement to the police, although he ultimately hadn't ended up testifying against Rondo and C-Day during the trial.
A lot of people, they're accusing Tay 600 to running his mouth.
For running his mouth,
no paperwork for it, right? Has there been paperwork seen, or is it just like a assumption?
Now, this the thing with cases like that, bro. I ain't gonna.
Damn, bro, so spoken and shit.
Like, that paperwork don't be public, bro.
Dude, you guys are.
You know what I'm saying? When it's some serious like that, only certain eyes can see that paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
But we seen it. Everybody from this block seen it. If we went to that courtroom, that lawyer let us see it, bro.
Mm.
So we just not gonna lie on nobody, bro. Feel me? And we love this shorty, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was out here with this we ain't never thought, bro. You know what I'm saying? I told him, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I talked to him one time after this, you know what I'm saying? I just told him, like, you feel me? I feel like he just made a mistake. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have done nothing like that. But that pressure got on him, and he felt like nobody was going to know what was said in that interrogation room. But he ain't touched that stand. You know, he ain't touched that stand, bro. He wasn't finna do that, bro. He didn't think it was going to have to go that far. But that's misfortune, bro.
E-Day would also give an interview to say...
He used a big-ass word, misfortune, on their ass.
But that's misfortune, bro.
E-Day would also give an interview...
God damn it, don't even know what that means. Misfortunate.
Tay was no longer in 600.
Unfortunate.
Now, a lot of your fans wanted me to ask you about, Tay 600. That whole situation.
The Tay 600, man, yeah, you already know, man. He ain't right, man. told, man, you know. He told on bro, no. Something ain't right, You know how it be, you know what I'm saying?
Your fans want to know, like, is he still 600 or is
Nah, hell nah.
Okay.
Dead.
Oh,
So he's
shit.
no longer around.
Change that
he
shit to
can't
take a
come around?
phone.
No.
At this point, fans were looking for any kind of proof as to what had actually happened. And right then, a bombshell would drop and go viral as an alleged statement given by Tay was dropped online, seemingly showing that Tay had indeed snitched on his friends. However, this statement would turn out to be completely false, as Tay would explain to Say Cheese in December, at this point already being a free man once again, having already gotten an early release.
Let's talk about this statement.
See, my thing about that statement is, you feel me? Be so dumb and stupid. You stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything, man. For one, that ain't have a paper. Look, my daddy just did 10 years in a federal prison and like 10 told him. I was a shorty, we had the paperwork that shit was about this thick, man. It let you know who said what and what said what, and it wasn't in pen like that fake ass that you just wrote me. And then
it's
for
fake?
two, they got my birthday wrong on there. They say I was being held on 26 in California when I was doing the investigation. That's the address to the Cook County Jail. That's not the address to a police station, which where I was in that. You feel me? Then, like, okay, if I'm gonna tell on someone, I guess I ain't at the time I would tell the truth. I didn't know none of them when I was 4 years old. Courtney first, you feel me? And I didn't even meet him till I was a teenager. Me and Rondo.
Bro, I'm so fucking confused, bro. So he's saying it's fake paperwork. He's giving me address and shit. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. And he's saying his birthday wrong. And he talking about his daddy got snitched on by 10 people. What the fuck we talking about, bro? I'm so fucking confused, bro. Hang on, I need to like go back. We need to review this.
Wasn't in pen.
Said what I said wasn't in pen, okay? Like that fake ass shit that you just wrote me.
Like that fake ass that you just wrote me. And then for two, they got my birthday wrong on there. They say I was being held on 26 in California when I was doing the investigation. That's the address to the Cook County Jail. That's not the address to a police station, which where I was in that. You feel me?
So, bro, they talking about the interrogation room that's he was supposed to be held at a police station. He was held at Cook County Jail. What the fuck that got to do with anything, bro? Like, they can't fucking get interrogation room at Cook County Jail? I'm confused, bro.
Then, like, okay, if I'm gonna tell on someone, I guess I ain't at the time I would tell the truth. I didn't know none of them when I was 4 years old.
Like, I don't know what the paperwork says. Why they pulling up fucking I ain't know Rondo number 9 when I was 4? What that got doing
first? You feel me? And I didn't even meet him till I was a teenager. Me and Rondo, I met Rondo later on, and we was going to grammar school together. But I never went to I never went to grammar school with C-Day. I only went to grammar school with Rondo, and that was about a year because I graduated.
Elementary.
Then I never went to high school with C-Day or Rondo. We ended up all going to the alternative school for probably.
What the fuck is the paperwork, bro? What they saying Tay snitched on? Like, they saying he snitched on Rondo, but like, I'm confused, bro. Well, I'm hella confused, bro. Did he tell on the murder, or like, why the fuck we bringing up when I went to school Rondo number 9? Why the fuck I care about that?
I think C-Day got kicked out like the first day I got him in there. He get kicked out. Me and Rondo, we was in there, but you know he ended up stopped going too, and I dropped out too. So it was like we weren't even in school together. Yeah. So this don't make no sense.
Coming into 2017, the narrative was turning in Tay's favour, as reports about the released court documents not including any proof of Tay snitching would begin to spread. In March, Tay would drop a song called The Truth, where he rapped about the case, saying how people calling him a rat had never seen him in the papers, as well as saying that 600 was still cool with the women who had testified in the court against Rondo and C-Day. Also in March, Vlad TV would post
they gonna be on some shit like they females, they shit don't apply to us.
600 was still cool with the women who had testified in the court against Rondo and C-Day. Also in March, Vlad TV would post a clip from their interview with Tay where he would explain what had happened with the case, saying how police had told him that they knew he had been present during the murder and tried to intimidate him to tell more, but he didn't budge, explaining that he wasn't scared because there wasn't any proof that he had been there other than some witness statements.
The simple fact, they can't prove that I witnessed anything. I know this, you feel me? They can't prove nothing like that because of the simple fact of I'm not on camera doing nothing. You know, it might be people identifying me saying that I saw it or I was at the scene or whatever, but you know, that's my word against theirs, you feel me? That ain't nothing that they could automatically just put perjury on, you feel me? Like, that's something that I had to have a trial within itself, you feel me? So I wasn't really worried about nothing like that. They didn't threaten me with perjury right in the investigation room, though.
Tay would also accuse
what is perjury again, bro? Oh, shit. Perjury meaning. The offense of willing to telling an untruth in a court after having taken an oath Okay, so perjury is like when you get on a stand, you gotta tell the whole truth, the full truth, nothing but the truth, or whatever. Yeah.
600 Breezy of lying about seeing any paperwork about him.
They was there, man. My people told me they never seen Breezy, you feel me? And so if he came now, he came and briefly left. Like, he didn't even stay long enough to see a lot of things unfold in the trial, you feel what I'm saying?
But even Fredo Santana would tweet saying that Tay didn't snitch.
Oh,
in August,
shit.
it was even reported that Rondo himself was denying that Tay snitched in his new jail
Oh,
film Freestyle,
shit.
which Tay would take as yet another victory.
Nah,
During
3-1
2018,
comeback.
things were seemingly beginning to calm down, with Tay even releasing part of a call between him and 600 Breezy, who was locked up at the time, where they would chop it up about the past and hashing out their differences. But under the surface, there was a lot of tension, and the relationship between Tay and the rest of 600 seemed...
What the fuck are we doing? Like, is Breezy lying? Breezy said that he seen the paperwork. This whole block seen the paperwork. That man Tay's a snitch. And now he's not a snitch, bro? Did we not, like, understand the paperwork? Did we not read the paperwork?
Seemingly
confused, bro. Is it fake paperwork? What?
Well, I did clear that up. EJ is lying. You gonna listen to talk. I've never had anything taken from me.
What? Say you used to put...
This is something that y'all need
Who the fuck is this?
I'm clarifying this now. I have never had anything taken from me, man. Nothing. They be putting false shit in the air. And be having asking
that's
me
Tay
about
talking.
false ass information. Like, what the f be wrong with these? What the f be wrong with the fans for even believing these stupid ass little boys? Like, never been a lame. Kamiko on his watching me, she know who the real gang members is from our block, cause she used to come over there to see me and Matt. And who you used to see in my crib, them members on gang, just members. If you seen them in my crib, they was them members. Other than that, I was putting their ass out. I used to put cop on them ass out my crib, boy. I used to put just on them out my crib, boy. Get the f out, y'all ass. Go outside and get killed. I don't give a get out of here.
In 2019, things would go from bad to worse for Rondo and C-Day, as both would lose their appeals, thus affirming their sentences of 38 and 39 years. Rondo would also get mad at Vlad TV for reporting how his legal team had attempted to pursue a new trial based on the fact that his previous legal team should have more vigorously argued for the theory that C-Day was the sole shooter. Rondo's anger would then turn to Tay, calling him a snitch and a rat. Rondo would continue in a jail phone call.
Motherfucker mad the word I think I sent in, bro. That shit wet, bro.
How his legal team had attempted to pursue a new trial based on the fact that his previous legal team should have more vigorously argued for the theory that C-Day was the sole shooter. Rondo's anger would then turn to...
I mean, I got 45 years, fuck that, he's a snitch.
And a rat. Rondo would continue in a jail phone call recorded by a friend where he claimed that one of the eyewitnesses that had been tracked down was Jamonte Carpenter, Tay's government name.
Who the f was a witness with them? I bet they say Jamonte Carpenter. Y'all look at the statement of facts of my case.
Oh, chill.
Y'all gonna see that the police, the state was trying to take down eyewitness.
I know you on the other side fucking spinning that motherfucking phone. Motherfucker gotta use that shit too. They better throw a stocking with that motherfucker.
What are the names?
However, for Tay, these documents would be more good news, as they would become available for free online, showing that he wasn't mentioned as a witness during trial. Around this time, Tay was also officially announcing that he was changing his artist name from Tay 600 to Tay Capone, with the last name, of course, being a tribute to his fallen friend L.A. Capone. In 2022, M-Thang would post to his Instagram story claiming that 600 members only distanced themselves from Tay in fear of what other members might think, and arguing that Tay never actually stated who did the shooting. Trigger and S-Dot are some of the other members who have seemingly stuck with Tay throughout most of this drama. In 2021, Trigger would comment on his relationship with Tay, saying that he was locked up during most of the drama and that he hadn't seen any paperwork about him, and that he didn't care what other people thought. And in 2023, Tay would post a photo of himself hanging out in 600's hood with Trigger. S-Dot, on the other hand, would reflect on his relationship with Tay in his recent No Jumper interview, saying how he can't turn his back on his brother and that they had fought, but
look how he wearing his fucking fitted, bro. He gotta show off the hairline. Damn, that bitch leaning all the way back.
Eventually come to an understanding.
You and Tay still tight? Yeah, that's my brother. I seen him for a minute because
like that shit touching the back your bag,
a lot
bro.
of people in 600 had like
your neck.
On Tay, but you was one of the first ones I seen.
Just lift that bitch up,
came
man.
Together and did an interview.
Yeah, I can't turn my back on, buddy. It's my boy.
How y'all get back in tune? Like, what was that conversation like?
It was like a real brother conversation. We argued, sent some threats, but it was that was my brother. But yeah, he was tweaking with me. I was tweaking with his. This the first time we ain't talked in a long time, so like, yeah, it was a little heated, but we got past. That was my brother. We got new music and shit on the way.
During the annual celebration
That's not
for
so rap,
in
man.
2023, Tay could be seen celebrating in the same video with numerous 600 members, such as S-Dot, Trigger, Domo, M-Thang, and Young Famous. Meanwhile, in the years following their sentences, footage has come out of Rondo and C-Day behind the prison walls. C-Day would even be interviewed through a jail phone.
I thought they was gonna pull up fucking Rondo with LA's
during which he claimed that he regrets doing things for the people that he did. And complaining that no one from 600 has put money on his books or paid his lawyer fees.
You know, it's making money off, you know, things that I put my blood, sweat, and tears for, you know, and for me to backbite down everything rolls, you know.
That's cap, bro. Dirk, bro. Didn't Dirk say he was paying for Mac's lawyer? I know he got rose too.
You know, we fight for our life, you know. No money, no loyalty.
C-Day also shared that he went to trial with a public defender, while Lil Durk had seemingly paid for Rondo's lawyer fees, as Rondo was signed to Durk's label OTF at the time. C-Day was
Damn. Just spent 25 on a lawyer? And add 3 zeros to that? Okay, 25,000. Tell Durk he the realist.
Had seemingly paid for Rondo
25,000 for a lawyer in a murder case.
lawyer fees, as Rondo was signed to Durk's label.
At least a lawyer, bro.
C-Day was ultimately left with nothing, and pretty much felt that Rondo threw him under the bus.
What is this shit in the background?
Sadly, there seems to be little hope for either getting out before serving their full sentence, a sentence that they ultimately deserve for playing to be little hope.
So my man's got fucking straight forehead tattoos in fucking jail. And I swear it's crazy. He had to use that shit for something. Do some tattoos on that.
Either getting out before serving their full sentence.
No, I'm saying no, but I heard when you find a murder case like Tay Savage, bro, he had a robbery charge. He had 2 murder charges and a robbery. He said he paid like 50 to like 100,000 for him.
A sentence that they ultimately deserve for playing a role in the senseless murder of an innocent man, all because
So
he was
not going
honest
to
and
that
told
shit
them
with
that he was from the area. Rondo and C-Day were dangerous individuals that shouldn't have been on the streets for the safety of the public.
Judging by C-Day's last line, look at that shit.
Were dangerous individuals
This shit running
that shouldn't
low.
have been on the streets.
Y'all can't even see it, bro. Oh, he's running
the
low.
Safety of the public. Judging by C-Day's internet activity, he was literally hell-bent on killing people for fun on a regular basis during this time. So despite their
Wait, they be
potential
sipping
as
and sweet and
rappers,
lacquer?
really, they were shooters first. They wound up facing the consequences that shooters face for the benefit of wider society. But I can understand why this is a hard pill to swallow when Rondo and C-Day were seemingly so close to rap stardom. Their sentencing for this murder put an end to their potential success in the music industry and represented a huge waste of potential. Rondo could be seen in his Zach TV interview anticipating his success in music and believing that he was headed to the top.
Yes, man. Trying to make it to the top. Facts from these.
Because after LA Capone was killed, Rondo was the next promising rap prospect in 600. But unfortunately, both artists would lose their careers to the streets.
Bro got fucking gold tinfoil on this shit. Look at that shit. He got 4 teeth covered in gold, bro.
Was the next promising.
He got that shit out of a fucking quarter machine.
Rap prospect in 600. But unfortunately, both artists would lose their careers to the streets in different but equally tragic ways. And today, the duo's biggest song, Play for Keeps, with 60 million views on YouTube, can easily be considered as a classic in the genre, which shows just what could have been. And when you look at the heights of Lil Durk's career and his OTF label that Rondo was a part of have reached in 2024, it's painful to imagine just how much Rondo threw away with this one bad decision. Rondo's solo music would also garner massive attention, and it's rare to find a video with less than 5 million views of his. Rondo had been making big moves in the industry and had even toured with the likes of Pusha T and Fabulous.
Finna start just collabing with all type of like real like that's already like at the top already. We're gonna see what's up, yeah? Cause I with a lot of already. We've been on tour, we Pusha T, Fabulous, all of them. We with a lot of that ain't.
C-Day also had promise in the music industry, even featuring on a song with Rondo that now has almost 10 million views, as well as having a close relationship with drill legend Chief Keef. But now, prison photos of the pair aging will be all that the public gets to see. But unfortunately for 600, Rondo and C-Day weren't the only famous members who wound up facing a lifetime in prison. As only 10 days before the murder of Javon Boyd, another prominent 600 member would allegedly commit a high-profile murder that would ultimately see them taken off the streets for good as well.
Chicago's first celebrity savage. Damn.
By 2014, Team 600 had become famous all over Chicago and the wider world as both a gang and a collective of drill rappers. 600 started 2014 strong, with one of their first releases being the sequel to their Big Crew anthem 600 on the 30th of January, dropping 600 Part 2. The music video for this track now stands at over 14 million views. And when 600 had released the Part 1, they'd already lost several members, but the original song included LA Capone, who was still alive at the time, one of their most loved and respected members and their clear #1 star in the making at the time. Part 1 was the introduction to this all-star drill team to the public. However, after the death of their biggest
he been locked up 10
prospect, LA Capone,
he get out what? I don't even know, but I don't even want to do the math. Like 2040
Part
type
2
shit.
was seemingly 600's way of letting both the fans and their ops know that despite this huge loss, 600 could not be stopped, neither in the drill.
Oh, with Rondo? I think Rondo was like 17 or 18. Young as hell.
Music scene or in the streets of Chicago. The hook of the song seemed to reference 600 losing members and planning to kill for the gang in revenge. Both S-Dot and Tay 600 would also pay tribute to LA in their verses, while E-Day's verse would have some eerie foreshadowing of the tragic events that would take place not even a month after the video's release, where he rapped about Rondo finishing the job and taking a charge. And talking about foreshadowing, in the video, people can be seen wearing free D-Rose shirts. Now, D-Rose is one of the most infamous and dangerous savages in 600 who has been shouted out
this fucking mugshot, bro.
Prolific shooter numerous times by other people. At the time of the shooting of the video, D-Rose was seemingly locked up, but he would be released already before the music video was released. D-Rose, real name Arbia Sardin, was originally from the area known as Motown, which is a large black pea stone stronghold around Sherman Park on the south side, with Mo's being a common nickname for the members of their gang, deriving from the Islamic beliefs of the crew. In early photos,
I doubt it, bro. But I mean, I don't know what his shit is, cause like, because I know Chicago, they can give you like 10 or 50%, which is 5 years. But if you don't do good, you gotta start that full 10. You could do all types of shit. I don't know. It's possible, but he's definitely have to serve like most of it.
young D-Rose can be seen throwing up a 5, which represents the 5-point star that is one of the symbols of the Black Pea Stones and the People Nation that they belong to. D-Rose's father was a well-respected Black Pea Stone leader known as General Ranger. This name likely deriving from the fact that the Black Pea Stones were originally known as the Blackstone Rangers. General Ranger was known for making money, but also giving back to his community, and he would reportedly hand out school supplies and book bags to children in the area. But unfortunately, Ranger, real name Alaroy Marcus Sardine, would be killed in 2006 during a robbery all the way in Texas. As Tay 600, aka Tay Capone, would later explain in his YouTube channel.
You feel me? His mama and his daddy really from, his mama and his daddy is Motown originals. You feel me? Both of them. His daddy got killed way before all of this. Daddy got killed out of town.
D-Rose's mother was also a well-known and loved figure in the area, and D-Rose seemingly had a very different upbringing from many of the other kids in the area, as his mother made sure that none of her kids attended the public schools in the area that were well known for their poor performance and problematic behavior, including gang activity. Another detail which Tay 600 would break down in detail on his YouTube channel.
D-Rose mama, she a gangster, she from the block, I mean she from the town, she a real street girl, but she always wanted the best for her kids, like she always wanted the best for D-Rose and them. Like when we was a shorty, like I always tell y'all, the shorties, we went to the hood schools, Carter, Dunbar, Sexton, Dulles. D-Rose and his siblings didn't go to none of them schools. D-Rose and his siblings was going to the private school that was smack dab in the middle of the hood.
Indeed, the other members of 600 attending the public schools in the area would get into all kinds of altercations at school. One of these schools was the Dunbar High School in the Bronzeville neighborhood, which was known for its heavy gang activity and violent gang-related incidents. One Reddit commenter on the
I was like, damn, it's Academy. I thought they was good.
Diracology subreddit shared a story about his uncle attending Dunbar and the various sets that would clash at the school. According to Tay 600, LA Capone used to get into fights there weekly due to many of his friends quitting school, leaving him all alone in class to fight against his ops.
Like, and I wasn't cool. Like, LA was like a little scrawny, bro, but he had the heart of a lion. And he ended up going to high school. And by the time he got to the high school where a lot of the guys used to go to, a lot of the guys dropped out, stopped going, and got kicked out. And a lot of ops came in. And he was not finna, he was content on going to school, you know what I'm saying? And the ops weren't finna make him not go to school. So he'd go to school and get jumped once or twice a week. Or be in a fight, a real bad fight.
Oh, fuck. Bro, getting jumped once or twice a week? Motherfucker just pulling up on it. You know what time it is this week. Get the jump in his ass. What the fuck?
Every week. And I just
2:30 on a Tuesday. You know what time it is.
I'm coming home.
Here we go again.
folks.
The fuck?
Ass black, you feel me? Like, but he's still out here and he's still going.
What the fuck? He got black, bro.
While D-Rose's parents were both from gang background, they were doing their best to try and make sure that their son didn't get involved in that lifestyle, and they were giving him and his siblings the best life they possibly could in this troubled neighborhood. Unfortunately, their efforts could ultimately not stop D-Rose from becoming the product of his environment, and from a young age, D-Rose would hang with his elders on the block, getting increasingly sucked into the gang lifestyle. Many videos would later circulate, seemingly showing D-Rose getting active in the streets, where he would be filmed throwing up gang signs.
Take no picture of me, bro. Why you take this?
Part of your environment. Why you hate dogs?
Gang, that we could be Cairo. Probably walking Sunday.
One video would go around where he would be seen beating up and robbing an op on camera. D-Rose would even film himself after the op shot at him.
Still out, man. Just shooting on my leg, man. It ain't, man.
Nah, he's smiling at you.
Me and maintain. You know, they was just shooting at our legs of King David. You know.
He would film himself sliding in cars with Rondo, as well as Lil Durk and Chief Whoop, as well as posting clips where he claims he was smoking on Tuka with his shooters.
Happy when I was a kid, bruh. I ain't know somebody, but like, I remember a pit like fucked the girl's face up, bro, when I was little, bro, and like, bro, I don't know, bro. That shit was crazy, bro. They showed that shit on the news. I'm damn. That shit crazy, man. Like, I'm telling you, bro, like, she had to get her, like, her whole shit was fucked up. Like, her arms got chewed. And they didn't chew them off, but, like, she was fucked up, bro. And it was, like, next to my elementary school and shit. She was, like, walking to school.
Despite only dabbling with rap, D-Rose himself was seemingly infatuated with drill music, regularly turning up to the gang-banging anthems that his friends like Chief Keef were making.
I was on that young drilling posted. Don't get no with the stuff. We gonna drill that. Look at that.
Although he was originally from Motown, D-Rose was seemingly an original 600 member who had lived in the neighborhood long before 600 the gang had even formed, having moved there with his family near 59th in Indiana when he was still a little boy. The private school that D-Rose attended also had many Front Street members, which is how he would allegedly first become affiliated with these local gang sets. D-Rose is also
like, bro, private schools got gang twos in Chicago, bro. Like, bro, private schools, bro. Ain't no way,
reportedly cousins with G Muma and 50 Shot
More,
who were prominent members of the Folly Boys set, which is located in Motown, where his father Ranger was from.
Like, it's like if you live on like in Chicago or like in the predominant areas and shit, bro. Like, I feel like you can't dodge this shit, bro. She hit this man in fucking private school, and it did not help, bro. Obviously, because what he got going on at home and at school, bro. That shit crazy.
And on subreddits like Chiracology, D-Rose's affiliation is
who's been a mouth by Pitbull. But it let go instantly. Bro, lucky as fuck then, cause like Pitts, cause they got like lockjaw, bro. I swear I seen shit, bro. Pitts kid, you like, bro. I seen a motherfucker put a cigarette on that Pitts nose to try like a lit cigarette to take that to like unlock jaw lip, bro. He couldn't, bro. Like the dog was literally like attached to the shit, bro.
Commonly put as 600/Folly Boys. Eventually, this lifestyle would bring him the nickname D-Rose, and although he used to be an avid basketball player and likely a fan of the actual player D-Rose, aka Derrick Rose, an NBA player from Chicago, the nickname D-Rose would in fact have a much more sinister meaning, with Tay600 saying that he got the name because he only needs one shot to kill his ops.
No, D-Rose, he wasn't always D-Rose, you know what I'm saying? He got his name D-Rose for only needing one. So all I'm gonna say about that, shorty only need one shot. It's over.
Yeah, he pinpoint thing, cause ain't no way.
He don't need a lot.
He and that bitch don't.
He only need one.
He take all the bullets out, just have one on the drill.
FBG Duck actually revealed that D-Rose was implicated in a
he
murder
was dead at John Wick out there.
that had taken place all the way back in 2011.
One shot
he would have been
need.
just 13 years old. This being the murder of a boy named had taken place all the way back in 2011, when he would have been just 13 years old. This being the murder of a boy named Dale Fisher, also known as Squirrel, who was from STL's neighborhood. The allegation was that D-Rose was one of the shooters in Dale's murder, as told by FBG Butter, who famously became one of the cooperators in Duck's murder case in 2023, along with YouTuber Trench's News, with Butter allegedly telling the prosecution that he had witnessed D-Rose together with the short but super savage T-Roy from O-Block killing Dale in December 2011. Sadly, many members of
That's a fucking all-star lineup, bro. You got fucking T-Roy, D-Rose shooting back-to-back on their ass? Nah,
short but
That's
super
some most
savage
feared
T-Roy
shit.
from O-Block, killing Dale in
Yeah,
December
King Von and that
2011.
shit,
Sadly, many members of STL and Dale's
big
family
three.
claimed that Dale was not even involved in the streets or gang life, but simply just hung around people who were. Shockingly, some people have even suggested that Dale might not have even been D. Rose's first body. Indeed, D. Rose's murder rap sheet allegedly runs a lot deeper than this. All the more shocking when you consider the fact that he was barely a teenager during these years. He was also rumored to have been involved in the murder of King Doc, real name Marlon Monroe, who was affiliated with the STL EBT set, specifically the EBT side. Doc was shot whilst walking near 63rd and St. Lawrence, the heart of STL's territory, when somebody opened fire while he was in front of a corner store, striking Doc once in the chest. Doc would then try to escape across the road and through a patch of tall weeds in an empty lot on the 6300 block of St. Lawrence, where he would ultimately succumb to his injuries, later being discovered by his relative, a boy named Modell McCambry. Now, anybody that's seen my video, King Von Rap's First Serial Killer, likely remembers that Modell himself would also meet an equally tragic ending not long after, with O-Block's King Von rumored to have been involved in both murders along with T-Roy. Anyway, following the social media activity of EBT members after Doc's death, it appeared that police thought that the Black Disciples were responsible. Particularly, Lamron and Brick City, aka 600, were their top suspects for this murder. However, many of the OG Brick City members were actually gangster disciples who had beef with members of Lamron just a few years earlier, as we know from Lil Durk's early lyrics dissing the set in his 2009 song R.I.P. Mo. Brick City's younger generation, on the other hand, were primarily Black Disciples, which ultimately became the default set for the new generation that called themselves 600. As Tay 600 implies on his 2021 song Way Back When, where he says that a lot of members were flipped from GD to BD when they joined 600. Online drill fans have long debated who from 600 might have been involved with the murder of Doc, with D. Rose actually being one strong contender. However, if that wasn't enough, there's also another completely different Doc that D. Rose had also allegedly rumored to have killed in 2012. This was a man called Lil Doc from the so-called No Love City on the west side of the Dan Ryan Expressway, more specifically from a set in that area that operates around 57th and Throop Street, although there's very little information available about this Doc altogether. What we do know from his cousin's tweets, though, is that he died on the 13th of August 2012. The reason why some people think that D. Rose had something to do with Lil Doc's death was also to do with his cousin's tweets, as following Doc's death, he would diss D. Rose and 600 numerous times. However, what makes this case confusing is the fact that there's seemingly no news about a murder that took place on the 13th.
Bro. It was like, what was the fucking? It was like, D Rose question mark, C Day question mark, blank question mark, blank question mark. Who did it?
That would seemingly fit this case. The closest thing is a news article about a 19-year-old killed by security guards after shooting at them in the early morning hours of the 13th. This took place in the far south side suburb of Richton Park, which is possibly why some people claim that Doc was indeed killed during hitting a lick. However, this doesn't seem to match the description of his cousin, who later tweeted several times about the murder seemingly happening on their block. He even tweeted about running to the location where Doc had been shot, that location being on the Elizabeth Street right next to Throop Street. Doc's cousin would also claim that he knew who killed him, but later has implied that he doesn't know, with there seemingly being too many rumors out there. So it's very difficult to say whether rumors about D. Rose's involvement in this murder are true. Furthermore, D. Rose has also commonly been rumored to have been one of those involved in the killing of none other than Lil Jojo, the GD rapper who went to war with Lil Durk and Lil Reese's Lamron 300 set, and put an enormous target on his back when he released the song BDK, calling for all Black disciples in Chicago to be killed. On the 4th of September 2012, Jojo dropped that song BDK and caused an avalanche of hate and death threats from Black disciples. He would even post an infamous video where he confronts Lil Reese on the street, yelling at him whilst driving by.
Hey, Reese alone. Yeah. Hey, I am Brick Squad. Brick Squad, boy. What you talking about, boy? We get up.
Motherfucker pulled up to Lil Reese with his fucking camera out the window, bro. I'ma kill you. It's crazy. Look at him.
Jojo would seemingly not be scared of the Black disciples that he'd upset, tweeting that he is
I'm
outside
on
of Brick
069.
Squad's
I'm
territory.
out here.
It's believed that soon after this event, several cars traveled to the location searching for Jojo, where a security camera would capture him riding a bike together with another boy when a couple of cars would follow along behind them. Both Jojo and the first car would move beyond the camera's view, and soon the other boy can be seen running away from the scene in the opposite direction. One of those rumored to have been inside one of those cars was D. Rose himself, while another popular suspect was a gang member called Poo Poo Man from an Inglewood-based BD set called SMB, or Sean Money Boys. He's perhaps best known by drill fans due to a bar in Chief Keef's classic diss track War,
bro, they trolling, bro,
where he raps that he calls up Poo Poo Man.
I'm gonna call up Poo Poo Man.
Anyway, after the murder, Jojo would be mocked all over the internet, including by members of 600 like LA Capone, and D. Rose would also a few years later diss Jojo by joking about his favorite color on Twitter with King Von and Bite Down. These are only a few examples of murders that D. Rose's name has been connected to, whilst with King Von and Bite Down. These are only a few.
But I think Pink, probably Violet. Sky blue. What the
examples
fuck?
of murders that D Rose's name has been connected to whilst he was still incredibly young. Therefore, it's not a surprise then that once word spread of D Rose's activities, he would garner a lot of respect in the streets. Moreover, once drill music became a nationwide and global phenomenon around 2012, D Rose would become a drill celebrity without dropping a single song, particularly due to Chief Keef often shouting him out in songs portraying
That's a crazy fucking song cover. Look at this.
Without dropping a single song.
Bro, got 300 on the jersey.
Keef,
damn.
Often shouting him out in songs portraying him as a teenage assassin. D Rose would even make a rare cameo in Keef's early music video for the song John Madden in 2011. Then, in October 2012, only about a month after Lil Jojo's death, Keef would also put out one of his biggest hits to date, Love Sosa, where he raps a line that would become a drill classic: "Don't make me call D Rose, boy, he's 600 boy, and he keep that pole, boy, you gon' get over." You know the bar. In fact, ever since October the 8th, 2012, when videographer D Gaines released a preview to the Love Sosa video, ending on lyrics about D Rose, these lyrics would ultimately become a trend on Twitter. Although at this point, many listeners still thought that Chief Keef was actually talking about D Rose, the basketball player, causing a flurry of hilarious viral tweets with clueless fans in shock that a professional basketball player, Derrick Rose, would be putting in work for 600 on the streets. As Tay600 would later explain on his YouTube channel, D Rose would perhaps become the first person in drill history to become famous for just being a shooter.
Yeah. Before yelling his name, you feel me? Before yelling his name, and it's blowing up to the point where D Rose is becoming a celebrity, bro. Like D Rose was becoming a celebrity right before our eyes, folks. Like it got to a point with D Rose where D Rose, the guys around, like I seen them turning into fans of D Rose, and he was not making a song.
What?
He didn't make a song. Like, he didn't make a song, bro. You feel me? It was just clout from being a savage. Like, I didn't understand it, for like this. He was the first to do that. Like, become known off being savage. You feel me? Like, that was just real loud. I never seen that before in person, in a rack. You know what I'm saying? But D Rose was blowing up like some type of celebrity. You know what I'm saying?
With D Rose's name ringing hard in the streets at this time, and
he
repped as many as 7 different gang sets, or at least had very close ties with them.
Damn.
With these sets,
crazy.
600, TYMB, O Block, THF46, Front Street, Lamron, and the Folly Boys. According to Tay600, even the infamous shooter Tay Savage, aka Chicago's John Wick, all the way from Welch World in the low end, would attempt to recruit D Rose to join his Welch World set because he knew what serious shooter D Rose was in the streets.
It was disassertion for me.
That shit is crazy as fuck. This man, fucking Tay Savage, back in like 2013, bro, was fucking trying to recruit D Rose because he knew what he was on, bro. That shit is crazy. He really a free agent. He tried to sign him to a fucking full-length contract for his block. Yo, that shit is insane.
Two black pulled up to my crib and was looking for.
They said, "We need you and your one shot on that drill, bro."
This man told me, he said, "I ain't gonna lie, on Welch, I want him. I want Rose. Tell Rose I said hit my line, man. Tell Rose I said come with me on BD. He said he got pipe, everything D Rose want on BD.
Whatever you want, bro. We got lasers. We got whatever sight you need. We got a switch on the back of this one. Shit, you want a Draco? Like, we got all this shit. We can supply you with whatever you need. You need ski mask. You need fucking glasses to cover your eyes too, bro. We got that for you, bro. We just need you in that car. What the fuck? Hop in that car, bro.
He gonna put Drake in his hand. He gonna put Drake.
Okay.
AIP 30, whatever he want, whatever Rose want on BD, he got it for Rose.
That man was a star player.
Man, what on video? The boy, that Rose, our slider, he's sliding for us on King David. He ain't gonna be on the hill now. Here I'm talking for Rose and BD whole time. Rose on BD. He probably would have rolled around with Takers. Rose like other gangsters too, folks. On BD, but Rose like other gangsters too on King David, folks. This man come to my crib trying to recruit D Rose, folks. It's just like, I'm just like, damn, on BD, you mean that much to you, folks? Like, you don't got enough savages, enough guns, enough this and that. You feel me? Like,
I never heard no shit like that, bro. That shit different.
Artillery, more savages in your circle, more demons in your vicinity on BDE recruiting the gangsters.
Due to his young age and his reputation, even D-Rose's mugshot would eventually go viral. In September 2012, D-Rose would get arrested, causing some of the biggest savages in Chicago to call for his release. Chief Keef too would eventually tweet Free D-Rose, together with an Instagram photo, finally letting even his mainstream audience know exactly who he was talking about in his songs. Other youngsters would even tweet to Keef, telling him how they had seen D-Rose while they were in jail, and confirming that he was banging for 600 crazy whilst inside. While some people, seemingly associated with D-Rose, would tweet, criticizing Keef for not bailing him out with his newfound rap riches, some seemingly thought that the arrest was even related to the murder of Lil Jojo due to the timing, but this wasn't the case, as someone would post from D-Rose's own account. And his co-defendant Juice the Savage from Front Street would later tell that the case was actually for an unrelated armed robbery and attempted murder case allegedly taking place in a studio.
I mean, just taking a step back, so what was the case that y'all got locked up for? I mean, since it's in the past now, like, can you talk about it? You and D-Rose?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. What was the shit they did? Not fire alarm. Damn, there was some shit they did in an apartment, bro, where they had to go to every floor, bro. I forget. Bro. What the fuck was it? I don't remember, bro. Wait, did they have to come in your shit to check your fire alarm?
Me and D-Rose got him trying to rob him.
Oh, now they don't, bro. Okay, I know what they would. Okay, yeah, this is what it was. I had a fucking fire alarm on the ceiling, bro, right outside my fucking bedroom, bro. And they would like tell you when they gonna do it or like what time, but sometimes they didn't, bro. So that shit just started going off randomly, bro. And it would be sometimes, bro, where like, bro, it would just, bro, I don't know what the fuck it was going on for. I think if there was a fire in someone else's apartment, everybody's shit would go off, bro. So it's fucking 3 a.m., bro. I'm already up though, but bro, it was going off crazy. I'm like, what the fuck? And I look outside my fucking. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I had to go all the way outside. And I was going down the stairs, and then someone was like, oh yeah, they good. Just a little fire on whatever floor. And I went back upstairs. I'm damn, bro, this shit is whack. And I'm looking out my window beforehand. I'm like, bro, this shit is so stupid.
Take his money in the studio.
I mean, you living good?
Somebody picked us out of the video. Saying that,
yeah, bro, did you show your house before?
Tay 600 would also tell how D-Rose had in fact been wearing his black puffer jacket when the police had finally caught him.
He running around the hood, I get my coat. Now 2 days later, after me giving him my coat, we in a block, he peel off and get bumped.
That's Tay's coat? I never knew that.
I wasn't blue,
fuck with that
but I was
coat.
like, damn. You feel me? I just got that damn coat, folks. Feel me?
That was a medium-sized house? How many bedrooms was that shit? That shit had to be like 3+ bedrooms.
This shit get locked up in my coat, right? So now, this the picture. This. I don't know. This was his first mugshot he ever had. You feel me? Now he gets locked up in my coat. I'm looking for the picture. This is his first mugshot ever. This is Twitter right here. This is my coat. That got locked up in my coat. I was blue.
However, at this time, D-Rose was still a juvenile.
3, but rooms weren't big, right?
And therefore placed in a juvenile temporary detention center, or what's better known in Chicago as Audie Home, named after Arthur J. Audie, the superintendent of the first such center in Chicago. And as D-Rose was a juvenile, he also wouldn't have a public mugshot taken until he was finally transferred to the county jail in June 2013 after turning 17. This mugshot would immediately go viral as Chief Keef fans could finally put a face to the name of the infamous savage from the songs, immediately cementing D-Rose's status as Chicago's #1 celebrity savage. And this mugshot would become iconic and was used in the covers of various 600 mixtapes, as well as on custom Free D-Rose shirts which members would seemingly make and sell. But most famously, D-Rose's mugshot would eventually become the icon of the infamous subreddit Chiracology, where Chicago drill culture is discussed in depth on Reddit, ultimately cementing D-Rose as quite literally the poster boy for Chicago drill. Finally, in mid-January 2014, D-Rose would end up beating this case, getting back onto the streets of Chicago, and even his ops would immediately take notice of this. D-Rose was finally free, with all eyes on him and a whole world of opportunities in front of him. Perhaps had he taken rapping seriously, his life story could have taken a drastically different direction, but unfortunately, D-Rose was as gangster as it got, and rapping was secondary to his main career as a savage. And soon, he would return to the streets with his reputation as a shooter. Ultimately, it was only a matter of time before he'd find himself in trouble with the law, but before that could happen, numerous people would lose their lives to his hand. It would appear that D Rose hit the
we on
streets
that
running,
thing.
ready
Not
to
right now.
capitalize on his
We
newfound
got 3
fame.
hours left
Soon
on
after
this
getting
shit.
home, he could be seen hanging out with his famous rapper
Dropped at
friends,
6?
including Chief
Damn, it's 7 already?
Keef and
Damn.
Fredo Santana. He would also visit New York
Yeah, I'm
at
doing
least
it
once
later.
with Fredo and his fellow 600 savages like Rondo No. 9, and he could even be seen hopping on the stage with mainstream rappers like A$AP Rocky whilst tagging along to shows with Fredo Santana. He would also make a few rare music video cameos, such as in the Rondo and C-Day music video for the classic drill anthem Bail Out, which was released about a week after D Rose was released from jail, and in the music video for Fredo's song Always, featuring G Herbo and Capo from Glow Gang. Interestingly, D Rose was also spending time at the studio, where he would now try his chops at rapping, seeing if he could parlay his reputation as a savage into rap stardom. He would begin to promote his debut mixtape The Return of D Rose, and this time in the studio would result in several songs with numerous drill heavy hitters, such as the song Zico Pack with Rondo No. 9 from 600, Boss Top from O Block, and Lil Herb aka G Herbo from No Limit. Zico Pack was a disrespectful diss towards the original 051 Young Money member who was murdered, as well as the song Long Nights with Juice the Savage, C-Day, Rondo No. 9 and Fredo Santana, along with production from the legendary DJ Ken, who produced a lot of the early songs for Chief Keef. It appeared that D Rose's life was actually heading in the right direction, with signs that Fredo was even perhaps considering signing him to his SSR label that he had recently started. D Rose would even do his first interview around this time, a very brief 46-second snippet where Rose was pretty much out of his mind.
Okay, man, it's D Rose from 600, man. Follow me on Instagram. Speed Drive D Rose. You know how I rock. You know, shout out all my blocks. Folks don't know how I'm rocking. I'm just, you know, trying to be a real
Bro was on a different planet, bro. Come back down to earth, bro.
We just gonna get out together, the whole squad, the whole game. You know, free all the gas, rest in peace all the gas.
But while D Rose was clearly trying to use his street fame to build a following and perhaps eventually a career in music and media, there were still signs that he hadn't left his old life in the streets alone, because the majority of his social media posts were still him hanging around in his old stomping grounds in the South Side, sliding in traffic with fellow members, all from the sets that he was known to be close with. During one of these times he was out sliding, on the 11th of February 2014, Chicago police officers who were patrolling the West Inglewood neighborhood would notice a white Dodge Caravan that was double parked in a way that obstructed the street. The police decided to question the people in this vehicle, who would turn out to be D Rose, Rondo No. 9, and C-Day. The police would question the trio, taking their personal information, as well as the information of the car, including the VIN number. Perhaps the Chicago police had an inkling that the occupants of this minivan were plotting to do much more than just double parking, and afterwards, the trio was seemingly allowed to continue on with their night. But the next day, however, things would get serious. On the 12th of February, a 14-year-old boy by the name of Venzel Richardson was out with his friends in the Woodlawn neighborhood. Venzel, also known as Big V, was a popular kid and well known within his area, and may have even had aspirations to make it in music, as can be seen in this 2012 music video that was made as part of a mentoring program for elementary students interested in the arts, where Venzel would rap about his neighborhood and his goals not to get sucked into the gang life.
Yes, it's YP. My clique is unique. We stay on the mic. We never go to sleep.
Damn.
Always on the grind. Never waste time.
Damn.
We avoid crime. Bad bustin' rhymes. My swag is to hustle, not to cause trouble. Whatever you do, I can do double. My block is shady. Everywhere I go.
My block is safe. He talking that shit.
However, Venzel had a close relationship with members of the gang Taekwon World, as can be seen from this old picture of Venzel together with prominent member TB. However, it seems that as Venzel got a little bit older, the peer pressure and allure of gang life that he grew up around would prove
Man, you don't do crime, you said.
As can be seen from later photos, where he's seen posing with other gang members throwing up gang signs, as well as from his own social media posts where he's on that now and throwing up more gang signs, taunting the police and his ops, as well as claiming his set Taekwon World, as well as V Block for Vernon Street and Mo Block for his friend Mo from Taekwon World, who had been killed in January 2014. Taekwon World was ultimately one of the gangs considered to be opposition of 600 and O Block, making Venzel a target for numerous shooters affiliated with the BDs like D Rose. Around 3 PM, Venzel would make his last post on Facebook.
Y'all say we not all out here,
ops,
they is fucking lying.
His friends were outside. A few hours later, at approximately 8:20 PM, Venzel and his friends were walking along along the 6100 block of South Vernon Avenue. They were on their way back home after visiting a convenience store when a white van pulled up alongside them, somebody opening a sliding back door and aiming a gun at them. These young men would begin running in different directions, but Wenzel was shot several times, including in the head, and he would end up dying at the scene. Wenzel's friend, prominent Taekwondo World member TB, real name Terry Barry, would later tweet his pain at the loss, suggesting that Wenzel was innocent and not involved in the gang war. Meanwhile, the day of the shooting, around 8 p.m., and then again around 9:55 p.m, D Rose would post on his Instagram 2 photos of himself with Lamron members OJ and Chubbs, implying that between 8 and 10 p.m, D Rose was with them, or at least that's what he wanted people to think, with these pictures of him inside a house intended as a perfect alibi. However, about a week later, on the 18th of February, D Rose would post an incredibly incriminating post, holding a Nerf gun with a caption saying "Bullets
Go
flying."
Papa G on Vernon Street.
This was a lyric from the song Chief and Keef by Chief.
Damn. Them bullets fly no Nerf. Boy go Papa G on Vernon
Nerf
Street.
gun with a caption saying "Bullets fly no Nerf." This was a lyric from the song Chief and Keef by Chief Keef, but instead of ending the line with the lyric "Change your ass like seasons be," D Rose would write "Papa G on Vernon Street," the exact street where Wenzel had been killed less than a week before. And to make matters worse, the police would work out that the pistol used in this murder was also the very same one used to kill Javon Boyd a few weeks later, placing the blame firmly on 600. But an arrest wouldn't come immediately, and for the time being, D Rose would continue living the good life, hanging out with his famous rapper friends like Fredo, Rondo, C-Day, E-Day, Boss Top, and Tado from Glow Gang, and his now increasingly famous gang member friends like T-Roy, King Von, and Doo-Wop from No Limit. And in the month that followed, D Rose would still sliding in the streets, hunting down his enemies, eventually catching one of the most prominent enemies of 600, an infamous rapper who had been dissing 600 and their allies extensively. Lil Mark was a well-respected and popular member of the 051 Young Money gang. He had been releasing drill music since 2011, such as his famous track Zico World, a tribute to the fallen 051 member who 600 members would often diss. On the 24th of March 2014, Lil Mark released his latest diss song, No Competition. This track made Mark a prime target to 600, Lamron, O-Block, and other BD affiliates who were dissed in this song. The song title was a direct shot at Lil Durk and his OTF collective, as he had previously released a song titled Competition, and Lil Mark's remix would even make his intentions to diss Lil Durk and his OTF crew clear in the title. The lyrics for No Competition included numerous disrespected disses towards 600 and other enemies of 051 Young Money. Over a minute of the song's runtime is exclusively dedicated to dissing specific people by name. And in the opening verse, 600 is dissed 5 times with their dead members being disrespected, as well as OD Perry from Wick City, whose death led to the gang infamously renaming themselves O-Block, as well as a beloved girl named Keita from the Parkway Gardens who also died in 2009. The song clearly achieved what it set out to do, as just 3 days later, on the 28th of March, 051 Young Money's enemies were out and looking for Lil Mark. At around 1:30 p.m. on the 300 block of East 51st Street in the city's Bronzeville neighborhood,
I watched the first 2 hours like 2-3 weeks ago, bro, and I just realized I ain't finished this shit, so we've been on.
Lil Mark was waiting at a bus stop when a minivan would drive past, spotting him with one of.
We can't put it on 1.5 speed. Why don't we do that before?
The passengers raising a handgun with an extended clip and opening fire.
Ah shit, he talked fast as shit on this. Hang on, 1.25.
Lil Mark would be shot in the head and he would die at the
Damn, this shit's so fast.
scene, and the shooter, reportedly wearing a mask, was unable to be identified. However, other assisting officers reported that the gunman's vehicle, a silver minivan with a Florida license plate, fled north and then went west. That minivan was later found in flames around 6:30 p.m. in the 3700 block of South Ellis Avenue. The murder took place right in front of a police observation device camera, and graphic photos of the murder scene were later shared to social media. Enemies of Lil Mark were ecstatic at the news of his death, and seemingly they had no regard to eliminating themselves soon after the crime. A video would be posted to social media very soon.
Wait, it's too fast? Okay. It was fast, but I was just trying to see.
Soon after the incident, which seemingly showed King Von, T-Roy, and D Rose driving back past the scene of the murder, filming the aftermath and saying, "Man down."
Man down is crazy, man. Body down. Body down.
Body down. 51st. Gang.
In fact, targeting the original diss song No Competition, Lil Durk would even visit the very bus stop where the murder took place, calling it a very famous place.
Bus stop, man. Hey, this bus stop right here, though. This is a real famous place, yeah. This is a real famous place, baby. Hey, this bus stop is a real famous place, baby. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying?
Although no one was convicted of the murder, it's widely speculated that 600, and specifically D Rose, may well have been involved in the killing, while being accompanied by King Von and T-Roy from O-Block. The same night after the murder, D Rose was posting to Twitter claiming that he was smoking on Lil Mark, followed by the tweet, "I'm going in, no problem, ain't gotta ask who shot him," the next morning. Those were lyrics from a March 16th, 2014 release from Prince Dre from O-Block, featuring 600's own E-Day. King Von, on the other hand, had tweeted throughout the night and day of the 28th all about the murder, something he had a habit of doing at the time. Right after midnight, Von would even tweet that D Rose was back in town, to which D Rose would respond a few hours later that the police hate to see him out sliding with Von and T-Roy, showing that they were clearly up to no good that day, and very likely bragging about having something to do with the crime. Then, just a few hours after the murder of Lil Mark, Von began praising Tirade, dissing Lil Mark and 051, starting by saying "Die Y" with a bunch of laughing emojis, as well as taunting them for Mark's death and telling them to keep their head up. And then, in a truly sad display of how childhood friends had turned into mortal enemies, EBK Juice, who was King Von's friend from his original Hood Kill Award, would tweet what seemed to be a genuine tribute to Lil Mark. This reflected the past when Juice, Mark, and Von had all seemingly been close enough to spend time together, but now Von would simply reply to the tweet by acting surprised together with a bunch of laughing emojis, showing that Von was truly over the moon by the fact that a once childhood school friend was now dead and he might have had something to do with it. This ruthless attitude would become even clearer from his next tweet, where he would say that he truly lived for the gang life and killing. A girl would then ask Von where he was, to which Von replied he was still in traffic listening to the song Zico Pack with D Rose, which this is a dead 051 member. 8 minutes later, an O-Block member would ask Von if he was coming to Parkway that night, to which Von would reply, "Of course," because they had to celebrate. And a few hours later, he was back home, seemingly noting that the mission had been completed. Like many murders in the Chicago gang wars, D Rose could...
Bro, this is not serious, bro. Look how he spelled it right. He put the actual 2. Like, that shit is, like, so inconvenient, bro. You gotta go to the numbers, hit 2. Like, bro, there's no way, bro. Like, this is, like, real life shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Whenever I type, like, I low-key spell my shit all the way right. I don't really, like, abbreviate nothing, because it's, like, it's not natural for me, but damn.
He was back home, seemingly
my man smacking the eyes on these shits to
noting
spell
that
out
the mission
wig.
had been completed. Like many murders in the Chicago gang wars, D Rose could not stop himself from taunting 051 Young Money after Lil Mark's murder, even at the cost of revealing incriminating evidence that could have easily helped a murder investigation against him. As mentioned in the earlier article, a witness had spotted the gunman holding an extended magazine on his pistol, something that D Rose was now flexing on Instagram just 2 days after the murder, even writing in the image caption that it's an extension so the clip's sticking out. That same day, he would also tweet that he was not a real rapper, but a gravedigger. And a day after that, he would post a video in which he states that he's tired of smoking on Tuka, so this here is Lil Mark.
I'm tired of smoking Tuka, so, you know, this one I'm finna be smoking at. It's called Lil Mark.
Eerily, 2 months before his death, Lil Mark would tweet at D Rose.
I don't know, bro. Like, I graduated fucking high school, bro. So, like, I always write my shit out. Like, I always gotta have good spelling in fucking school. So, I'm like, I might as well just type this shit out just like that, bro.
Letting him know they were enemies. Clearly, black disciples from numerous gang sets like 600, O-Block, and Lamron were delighted that the most famous rapper from 051 had now been killed. And during this time, the streets of Chicago would be incredibly active, as only a day after Lil Mark's murder, another one of 600's most hated rivals, the man who allegedly killed Jizzle, would end up losing his life too. On the 29th of March 2014, a prominent STL EBT member by the name of Lil B was being chased by the police in the 6200 block of South Rhodes Avenue. Police
Wait, how much left? Oh, shit, man. 2.5 hours. I don't know if we're doing all this. I think we're gonna do like another 45 minutes. And then we have 2 hours left next.
Claim Lil B, real name Russ Shaw, pointed a gun at them, prompting the officer to open fire, killing Lil B. And a harrowing video of the aftermath of the killing would circulate online following the incident. Later, local news would show the aftermath of the shooting, with angry crowds gathering who saw this as another example of the police using excessive force against a young black man.
A deadly shootout in the middle of a Chicago street in the middle of the morning. A suspect allegedly pulls a gun on police who fired fatal shots. Police say they were chasing a suspected drug dealer.
A massive police presence between Eberhard and Rhodes on 63rd. Patrol cars, blue lights flashing after a police-involved shooting. Friends say 19-year-old Rasan Shaw had just left them to get something to eat.
He was running through the alley with no gun or nothing, because he just left us, so we know he ain't had no gun on. Police shot him unjustified. Too many times in his back, he ain't doing nothing, man.
Chicago Fraternal Order of Police Lodge 7 spokesperson Pat Camden says Shaw was caught by police in the middle of a drug deal. They went after him. Camden says Shaw pointed a gun at police.
The officer defends himself, shoots the offender. We did recover a .40 caliber Glock with an extended clip.
He had a gun on him.
Chaos erupts after the shooting. An angry mob gathers.
The rumor starts to spread that he didn't have a gun, the police shot him for no reason. Nothing could be further from the truth. If you're carrying a gun and you're stopped by the police, put your hands up in the air, and I guarantee you, you won't get shot. Point a gun at a policeman, and I guarantee you, you will get shot.
And that's what happened in this case.
Absolutely.
After his death, allies of Lil B would share memories, many describing how he had been a menace and even killed numerous ops. However, D Rose from 600 would post several videos mocking Lil B to social media shortly after his death. On April the 1st, he would post a video dissing both Lil Mark and Lil B, as well as several other dead people, even after claiming he had just prayed.
I just got done prayer, but it's still Lil Mark. Lil B.
On April the 3rd, he would post himself in traffic while again dissing Lil B. It's believed that D-Rose had a grudge against Lil B as he had been previously shot by him, but D-Rose was committed to living the gang life and his favorite activity would become
Wait, who got shot by him? Didn't Lil B shoot him in the... They shot D-Rose in the chest? Nah, not D-Rose.
Lil B.
I didn't know D-Rose got
He had been
shot.
previously shot by him, but D-Rose was committed to living the gang life and his favorite activity would become driving around with other members looking for the ops, whilst listening to the man that had given him the increasingly large follower base that he now had, Chief Keef. On April the 12th, D-Rose would post a video of himself walking on the block with other members saying that they were on their way to get these pills and do these drills.
A granite tie police sometimes will still shoot with hand up. What do you mean? I don't know what that means.
Look, he got white folks on the block.
Oh, you talking about when he pulled out his gun? He probably didn't do that. He
3 days
probably
later,
put his
he
hands
would once
up.
again post a video dissing Lil B, calling him Lil, and also dissing KI, the female STL member who had allegedly been killed by King Von from O Block just a few days before this.
But they saying he didn't have a gun. He had a gun, bro.
No,
They can say whatever they want.
Getting off a lot of carbon.
He did. He can't speak for himself.
You want to talk stuff about that dead person? I'm finna put the camera on you.
On April the 27th, D-Rose would post a video of himself hanging in the Parkway Gardens, aka O Block, with O Block members like Big A, once again, dissing Lil B and KI.
Oh, hello. Stress gang.
And later that day, he would post another video telling that somebody had shot him and others in the legs, together with the caption, "Ain't on piss," showing that he wasn't even scared of getting shot.
Still out here, man. These bitches just shooting up my leg, man. It ain't shit, man. We still up on this hill block. Late night, me and Maintain. You know, they was just shooting at our legs of King David.
Unfortunately for D-Rose, however, while he was seemingly celebrating the deaths of numerous ops that he had hated, whilst himself clearly feeling invincible, his days were in fact numbered, and very shortly after this, the authorities would ultimately catch up with him and take him off the streets for good. On Monday, April the 28th, everything would come crashing down as the news reported that D-Rose had been arrested and charged with the murder of Venzel, with D-Rose being held on $1 million bail, and news articles even mentioning D-Rose's affiliation with 600 and famous drill rappers like Chief Keef. Shockingly, despite the famous and rich friends that D-Rose supposedly now have, particularly Chief Keef and Fredo Santana, nobody would come to bail him out, because this would have likely required a 10% payment of the $1 million bail, meaning in this case, $100,000, with $10K of that being completely non-refundable. Perhaps nobody felt like bailing out Chicago's biggest savage was a great investment of money, and so D-Rose would begin a long wait for his trial behind bars, with members of 600 and his other friends settling for tweeting about wanting him free and claiming his innocence, rather than actually bailing him out. The trial of D-Rose would eventually take place in late 2016. Later court documents provide a picture of a rather messy trial where the kids who had been with Venzel that tragic night were now witnesses. And while at the time of the murder, they had still been rather young like Venzel himself, in the years that followed, they had since grown up, many of them seemingly becoming more active in the gang lifestyle themselves, such as Daryl Johnson, who was known as D-Money from Taekwon World, and Jaron George, who was known as Mook from Taekwon World. Both D-Money and Mook seemingly originally indicated D-Rose as the shooter, but during the trial, they would deny any identification, as it seems that the no-snitching policy had since become a guiding rule in their lives as the years had gone on and they had gotten deeper into the streets following the murder. However, others like D-Money's older brother would testify that D-Rose was indeed the shooter, even during the trial, and in the end, D-Rose was indeed found guilty.
I ain't gonna lie, that is a fact, bro, because I hate that shit, bro, because, like, I think Dougie got locked up, and it was someone on his Instagram or some shit, someone said, like, oh, Dougie gonna be home tomorrow. I'm like, bro, you never know, bro. I see motherfuckers go in, and, bro, they was looking for bail bondsman, trying to bail him out immediately right when he went in, bro. He ended up staying, like, 3-4 days, bro. Like, that's just how it worked, bro. Like, you know what I mean? You can't really rush that shit. So it's like, when people, like, see that motherfuckers got bail on fucking Instagram, I be looking in the comments, motherfuckers like, oh, why is he home right now? Why is he home right now? It's just not how bails and bonds work, bro. Like, you gotta, like, you gotta do a whole bunch of driving, a whole bunch of, you gotta have your money straight. That shit not that easy, bro. You don't got bail over here, so it's like, if you get locked up, you get locked up. You get let go, you get let go.
Being sentenced to 40 years in prison for the murder of Venzel. Around the same time, D-Money
And it's like, motherfuckers could revoke that bail bond on some stupid shit.
From his personal
lose
account,
that shit
repeating his
instantly.
stance from the trial that D-Rose didn't actually kill Venzel. Perhaps this really was the case, and D-Money hadn't actually seen D-Rose at the scene like he originally told police in 2014. Or perhaps he was simply fully committed to his new stance of no snitching, instead wanting to face D-Rose in the streets and get personal vengeance. Because D-Money would then grow up to become a feared member of Taekwon World and an alleged killer himself. At one point, he would even allegedly be captured on O-Block security cameras with his friends, creeping and scoping for a victim, eventually killing a man who ended up not even being from O-Block. He would even allegedly film himself on Instagram Live only moments before the murder, and would then beg a YouTuber who had recorded the live.
Oh, that's him? I remember this.
Unfortunately, as usually comes with that life,
he's like, you trying to get me locked up?
Meet the same fate as he was killed in
They can hold you up to 6 months without any evidence. 6 months, bro.
2021 on his home turf, Woodlawn. And after D-Money's death, another Taekwon World member called 2 Times would post a tribute to D-Money, implying that D-Money had killed a total of 3 people. D-Rose, on the other hand, would appeal his conviction, but this wouldn't help either. In 2019, the appellate court would affirm his sentence. But still, there's plenty of people who have spoken.
Why they call him a rapper, bro? He's not no rapper.
This wouldn't help either. In 2019, the appellate court would affirm his sentence. But still, there's plenty of people who have spoken out about D-Rose apparently being innocent, including
they say he's innocent.
Savage. Also, the YouTuber Trenches News, who used to be close with many sets around Washington Park and the Woodlawn neighborhoods, as well as the members of 600 like Tay and 600 Breezy, who following the appeal loss would post on his Instagram calling D-Rose an innocent man. There's also been many attempts to fundraise and raise awareness for his case or another appeal, but these have ultimately gone nowhere. Still, the alternative theories amongst drill fans list numerous other suspects, with one theory circulating online suggesting that Lil Boo from 600 was responsible. This theory is supported by the fact that 600 Breezy would claim in a DJ Vlad interview that the person who shot Venzel was a 600 member who is in fact now dead.
And then you can tell them a lot, like if you heard of D-Rose is locked up right now for a murder that he didn't even commit. He wasn't even around, just off his name. They found him guilty because people are going to court saying he did. But
he just so soft-spoken, bro.
That got killed. D-Rose didn't do it. But I can't go. We don't know how to go about that. Like that's still, even though he gone, it's still like snitching. Like but still, like they ain't gonna try to believe that.
I don't agree with that shit, bro. My shit is like, bro, if he dead, bro, I promise you, if I'm gone, bro, and bro, you could throw anything on me, bro. I'm gone, bro. I'm not gonna face any of the consequences, bro. Even if I ain't do that shit, bro. As long as you get out, I want you to sit up there. And I feel like it's the same way for a lot of people that pass away, bro. They be like, bro, just put that shit on me. I'm dead. I'm not gonna be able to face consequences. I don't want you to sit and waste your life because you don't want to snitch on me. It's not snitching, bro. Like, just put that shit on me, bro.
Came to you and said, listen, I need you to come in and testify and say that this dude who's now dead.
That's not snitching to me, bro. But you know how this shit go, bro.
In jail for life for, so I could go home.
I wouldn't be able to do it because I wasn't there.
Okay.
I'm not
so also someone would have to be there.
And as we'll soon discuss, Lil Boo would unfortunately end up losing his life about a year after the murder of Venzel. This theory would also explain a tweet from Mook after the death of Lil Boo, where he disses him while saying R.I.P. Venzel. There are even theories that the shooter wasn't a member of 600, with one theory suggesting that Front Street member Lil Los may have actually been the shooter.
You won't feel right doing that though? Like, so if you died, you wouldn't want one of your homies you want him to be stayed up in jail? Or just, you don't want, like, bro, what? Like I understand, but I don't know. Morals shit, I guess.
By Taekwon World members, commonly tweeting Front Street K or 061K, which is the main street that Front Street claim, as well as Savage Squad K, which is another Front Street affiliated set named after the record label of Front Street's most famous rapper,
Now they can do it to me, but I don't want.
Hannah. Venzel's
that's what you talk about though.
Close friend TB or Terry Barry from Taekwon World has even claimed that he believes D-Rose is innocent too, while seemingly
they put shit on me if I'm dead.
Implying that the real culprit was from Front Street, even claiming that Capo from Front Street was shot as Get Back. This is particularly interesting, given that TB has often been considered the one who actually killed Capo. However, overall, the tweets from Taekwon World members would suggest that the killer was in fact from 600, with 051 Driller even tweeting that he was smoking on Big V and even shouting out 600, despite both sets beefing with 600 due to the war between Taekwon World and 051. However, perhaps the most interesting theory is based on the facts known about this case that came out in the trial, as there's one particular fact that has many people convinced about who the shooter was, and that's the description about the clothing that the shooter was supposedly wearing. With this description coming from D-Money, who had immediately following the shooting described to the detectives that the shooter was wearing a white cap, white shirt, and red pants. This is interesting because at the time, there was a member of 600 who would commonly wear red pants, and that person had also been in the supposed murder vehicle just the night before Venzel was killed. That person wasn't D-Rose, but instead C-Day, who had practically made wearing red pants his trademark at the time. Of course, this alone doesn't prove anything, but this detail has led to many people to believe that D-Rose was in fact innocent of the most high-profile murder that was ultimately pinned on him, getting him 40 years. However, the prosecutor would in fact make one of their key arguments in the trial the fact that the witness not only knew D-Rose from social media, but they also knew the other 2 people who had been seen in the alleged murder vehicle the night before, C-Day and Rondo, and thus they would have recognized if one of them had been the shooter instead. Nevertheless, if you believe D-Rose was not responsible, it would seem that the Chicago police are still aware of D-Rose's reputation as an infamous killer, and were looking to do anything they could to get him off the streets. King Von would actually refer to this in his song What It's Like, where he would rap in a verse that he was in the jail cell with D-Rose when he received his sentence, and Von ends the song with a chilling outro where he claims that the same detective that locked up Rondo, C-Day, and D-Rose bragged to Von about locking up his friends and told him he intended to do the same thing to him when he was facing the murder charge of Malcolm Stuckey, a charge that Von ultimately ended up beating, coming back at the end of 2017. Von claimed that that detective had told him that locking up him and his friends was like a game to them, but interestingly, Chicago police are refusing to release any reports concerning the murder of Venzel beyond the original incident report, claiming that the investigation is still ongoing or that the reports are still incomplete. For those believing in theories about foul play on behalf of the CPD, this certainly raises more questions. But let's not forget that for these gang members, killing their enemies or even...
No. motherfuckers to stay on morals, bro. Like, you don't gotta be in the streets to stand on morals. My thing is, if you break the law and you go to jail and then you want to tell somebody that you feel me, you were breaking the law with, bro. Like, you cannot be in the streets and break the law. So it's like, I don't know, if you do the crime, you do the time. That's how I look at it. Or just play it out in court, bro. Yeah, it just depends on what you stand on, bro. Like if you a abiding citizen and you get robbed and you tell on somebody, bro, I can't say anything. You a upstanding citizen. You pay your taxes. You work a 9 to 5. That's you, bro. Yeah, bro. If you break the law and you get caught and you got a co-defendant on your shit, you can't be going in there snitching on, try to get out of your shit. Like, you did that, so you gotta.
Some people just where they're from is also a game. And ultimately, whether or not you agree with everything the police do in Chicago, the fact is, taking someone like D Rose off the street is being done for the safety of the public. And perhaps had he not become...
That's different. I mean, if you a civ and witness something and someone says, I wouldn't snitch. Okay, I'm trying to, like, if you a civ and witness something and someone says, I wouldn't snitch. Like, some people just mind their business, first off. If, like, someone witnessed something, they don't want to be a part of nothing. Because, you know, who people be around, your name ring bells, shit like that, bro. Motherfuckers get up with you just because you said something to get them locked up. Yeah, some says just, like, you feel me, they don't even want to get up. They know what environment they in, so they just want to distance themselves as much as possible, bro. I ain't seen nothing. I don't want to cooperate nothing. But, like, if someone was to, like, witness something and they tell, I can't blame them for it. Yeah.
Famous the world over for being a shooter and killer, then perhaps the police might not have worked so hard to lock him up by any means. On the other hand, Tay600 would reminisce on Twitter, saying that D Rose had basically grown up in the prison system since he was just a young teenager. This combined with the fact that he would become known amongst drill fans as a cold-hearted killer at such a young age due to rappers like Chief Keef hyping him up, then it's understandable to see why his life would take the unfortunate trajectory that it did. Ultimately, once again, another 600 member had been taken off the streets, losing their future to the gang war that made them famous. But going forward, even with prominent members off the streets, either dead or in jail on both sides, as the year went on, the remaining members would continue to wage war in those streets. And, in music, the songs would go viral, detailing the losses on both sides of the war, with twisted lyrics claiming to be keeping score of the tragedies, and in the process giving the whole world an insight into exactly what was going on in 600's hood.
D Rose?
Once again, another 600 member either dead music, and in the process giving the whole world an insight into exactly what was going on.
Oh shit, power drop last night.
Going on in 600's hood.
I have to be on, I don't kick. Six to 24.
2014 had been a turbulent...
Oh shit, 6 to 24. 600 keep the score, damn.
2014 had been a turbulent year for 600 members. 3 of their most infamous members, D Rose, Rondo No. 9, and C-Day, would all be taken off the streets for good after being implicated in high-profile murder cases. And with the murder of their star rapper, LA Capone, in 2013, it would seem that the gang lifestyle...
God, we're gonna be on this bitch a while, bro. And we got 30 minutes left on this shit. Fucking 3 hours here. Okay, let's do the time. 30 minutes. That'll put us at like 8, 3 hours. That's like 11, 12, 1 a.m. But we're not watching all this. Damn, we're gonna be on kick at like 6 a.m., bro.
Was truly catching up to them. But despite these losses, the remaining members would continue to carry the flag for their set musically. On the 4th of June 2014, 600 member 600 Breezy drops his track Don't Get Smoked. This track would be a gangbanging anthem for 600 members. The music video would show Breezy and other 600 members on their block toting serious firearms, including the infamous 600 Mac. The track's lyrics are pointed disses at all of 600's numerous ops, including rapper TTB Nez and his TTB or Train to Blow set from the low end, also known as Sulu.
I swear, bro, I literally woke up at like 5, bro. Like, I woke up at like 4:35 and I went to sleep at like 8 a.m, bro, and I'm still tired,
which have strong ties with their mortal enemies, 051 Young Money, as well as 051 themselves, more specifically, their fallen member Fathead, who was killed at only 14 years old in 2012. Breezy would also diss Brick Squad and their fallen member Lil Jojo, who was killed only 18 in 2012, with 600, particularly D Rose, having allegedly been involved, together with numerous other people, as well as rapper Lil J from STL, who had made a name for himself since 2012 by heavily dissing Chief Keef, O-Block, and all of their affiliates, and who at that point had already miraculously survived getting shot 9 times, and would not long after the release of this song end up getting shot 6 more times, earning him the bizarre nickname from DJ Academics, the Chirac Wolverine, as well as P5, aka Crack from Jaro City, who was allegedly killed by King Von from
Poco 20 minutes after you ended last night. Damn. Wait, when'd you leave? I got 5 hours of sleep, so I got the most amount of sleep and I'm still tired. You should do that for the 3-hour vid, what you did for this. Watch the first half and watch. We'll see.
Block
We'll see if it's good or not.
12.
Cause like that Sweden video, I was invested in that shit. We watched that shit fully in. Do we gotta watch the other Trap Lil Russ video?
Along with
I look want to. I want to start
may
it.
well have been affiliated with 600. In the song's outro, 600 Breezy continues the dissing by mentioning numerous dead members from rival gangs, including Tuka, real name Shondale Gregory from STL, and Tutu from Gyro City, both killed in the war that had been waged between the different sets around the and Woodlawn neighborhoods during the 2010s. Don't Get Smoked also featured a famous lyric that supposedly mentioned the score between 600 and their ops, putting it at 6-24. This became a famous lyric that had been repeated and remixed by many other Black Disciple rappers like King Von and Lil Durk. The lyric itself would spark intense debate and speculation as to whether this quoted score of 6-24 in favor of 600.
Ah, shit, they got the scoreboard up. Hold up, let's keep track. Damn. They lost Baldy, D-Thing, Shaq, Lil Steve, Tricks. They need to claim my man's Tricks. I remember that shit, bro. That's whack. My man was just cooling, bro. LA. And they got Dalvin on this bitch. Junebug, Hottie, Zico, Tuka, Fathead, King Doc, Dale, Tutu, T-Street, Taekwon, Dirty Rail, JoJo, Modell, P5, Boss Trail, Lil James, Big A, Lil Mo, Big V, K.I., Lil B, Lil Mark, and Javon Boyd. He innocent, bruh. They counting innocence now? Damn. Nah, they ain't that bitch. Oh shit. Okay, so these are all from 600. And then you got Gyro, MOB, Gyro, 051, ST. But they got like 7 different blocks on this shit. Man, just apologize, bro. 6-24 is crazy, bro. Wish I muted him, my bad.
In favor of 600 itself would spark intense debate and speculation as to whether this quoted score of 6-24 in favor of 600 was indeed an accurate depiction of the actual score in the ongoing
gang war. 21 whitewash them. What the fuck going on here?
I'm not condoning the use of any kind of scoreboards when it comes to gang wars, and this video is far from any kind of scoreboard video. But arguably, when you look at the people involved, this score could well be accurate, as at this point, there were indeed 6 people on 600's side who had unfortunately lost their life to the gang wars.
Why do you use that Lil Steve video or picture, bro? Why you guys sling out like
However,
that,
as far as 24 of their enemies being killed, this was much more difficult to prove, but it could well add up if you're considering members from the many other gangs that 600 were beefing with. Now, for the record, this would be an unfair way of keeping score, as essentially it omits anybody that's passed away on the O-Block side of the war, but includes basically anybody that 600 has had a beef with. Meanwhile, others have theorized whether the numbers 6-24 wasn't actually the real score, but in fact a coded diss aimed towards 600's ops in Taekwon World. This is because Taekwon Tyler, who Taekwon World is named after, actually died on June the 24th, 2012,
that's his last
624. And many ops of 600 from Taekwon World publicly stated how much they hate this combination of numbers in a day. Or perhaps more likely, 6-24 may well even be an elaborate play on words, or in this case numbers, to represent the letters B and D in the alphabet, with 6 representing the 6 of 600 and 2-4 representing the B and the D standing for Black Disciples. And this is actually what 600 Breezy himself says in the very next line of the song.
What the fuck, man? Okay, 6 for 600, and then the second letter in the alphabet and the 4th letter in the alphabet, B and D. So 600 BD, okay.
Represent the letters B and D in the alphabet, with 6 representing the 6 of 600 and 2-4 representing the B and the D standing for Black Disciples. And this is actually what 600 Breezy himself says in the very next line of the song, where he raps how all of his friends are 2-4. Regardless of the exact explanation, these bold lyrics would put 600 Breezy on the map as the next big rapper to look out for from 600. But meanwhile, in the streets, things would unfortunately keep heating up, and only days after this song released, another high-profile murder would unfortunately take place.
Murder of MOB Scrap.
MOB member Scrap, real name Brian Weekly, was seemingly responsible for the murder of beloved 600 member Lil Steve that had caused 600 members to rename their hood Steve Drive in his honor. Although Scrap was a feared shooter by himself and known for allegedly killing Lil Steve, Scrap's family also had deep ties within the MOB gang. Scrap was the younger brother of Ruger, who was the biggest rapper to come out of MOB, well, at least until Lil Mo from the younger generation begun making a name for himself. But Scrap would also try his own hand in music, making several songs and music videos over the years, often collaborating with his brother Ruger and even his cousin, FBG Duck, as well as his close friends Buki and Dusky the Man. They would even have Lil Jojo, who made the controversial track BDK before his death in 2012, appearing in their biggest song, Ain't Nothing Bigger, which is an anthem dedicated to their street set MOB. And in his verse, Scrap...
Wait, what is that, Frogger? Let me look. Oh yeah, I literally, I'll check my phone like fucking 20 minutes ago. I seen this shit around Twitter, bro.
That shit's funny. That shit's funny. Damn, actually? Oh, shit.
Wait, Bradley Martin on that, bro? Why you smacking with it?
Oh, I didn't know that was bad.
Damn. Why the fuck you do that? Bradley Martin seen chill, bro. Nah, bro. Ron not on that, bro. Like Bradley Martin knew if he slapped Ron, he not gonna fight back, bro. Like, come on, bro. That's looking whack, bro.
That shit's funny. That shit's funny.
But I ain't gonna lie, Ron can't be taking his hat, bro. Like he wasn't. That's weird. Like Ron be on some funny shit, but chill, bro.
Give my fucking hat. Damn, actually.
Nah, bro. Brad let him Ron slap him back, but I think Ron
Smack him back to him. I gotta do what Bruce said. Nah. See, this is like, I can't.
No, go for it. I don't give a
No,
fuck.
because I gotta catch you when it's off guard. If I'm gonna smack the fuck out of you, I gotta catch you when you're.
Do it.
Oh, no.
It's a lick for a lick. Do it. Don't be a pussy. I would do it. He said I wouldn't do it. No, do it.
Are you actually?
No. Really do it.
Slap the shit out of him.
Come on. You can smack me.
I can't. I don't know how to. Full palm?
Smack me.
Oh, I missed.
Feel better now?
No, I missed. I hit the beard, bro.
That was good. You feel better now?
No, you fucking smacked me. You're 6'3", bro.
Damn. Bradley tweaking Birdhouse. Oh wait, let me stop scrolling, bro. 15 minutes of them meeting each other. I don't know, bro. Yeah, fuck around and find out type shit. I don't know.
Would diss both D-Thang and Lil Steve. Besides the obvious diss towards D-Thang, aka Devon, these lyrics once again reference how Lil Steve had supposedly tried to kill Scrap, which is why Scrap allegedly ended up killing him first, as he would imply several times on Twitter. This was a sad turn of events because, as mentioned before, years prior, many 600 members were even very close with Scrap. Take Capone would actually explain that Scrap went to the same school as McAdoo from 600, and he would bring him around other members playing basketball. And as Scrap and Ruger's father, Big Les, would later claim in an interview, the war with 600 ultimately began with his youngest son, Scrap. Big Les would explain how McAdoo had stayed in Scrap's house multiple times, and Scrap would stand up for Mac in their school when anyone would try and beef with him.
Bad about him, because to be honest with you,
got your head down.
I love Machiavelli. I love him like a son. And for me seeing and knowing what happened between him and my son, I know what happened. Machiavelli stayed at my house. Machiavelli slept at my crib. I took Machiavelli to play ball with my sons. Machiavelli was with me, under me, with my son's Scrap. You know what I'm saying? So Machiavelli was just on this side, Scrap was over here. But they still used to be together every day, you know what I'm saying? And the streets, like I said, the streets divided them.
As the beef between MOB and 600 got more serious, so too did the relationship between McAdoo and Scrap. And eventually, Scrap would even publicly tweet that he wanted to kill McAdoo and Tay 600, just like Baldy. One of his friends around this time, Rico Reckless, would later appear on No Jumper, where he would discuss just how bloodthirsty Scrap was in the streets around this time.
I knew Scrap was a real savage one time, but one time I picked Scrap up. I picked Scrap, Bebe, Stain, I think like Freaky or something. I just had like an old Lincoln. Now it's all of us up in my Lincoln, but it's like the old school Lincoln that fill up with, and we used to put hella guns in the. One time, Scrap in the car. We only been in the car for like 2 minutes. I swear to God, he in the car. Damn, I'm ready to kill. I said, oh, hey, we dropping his ass back home. This is bad.
Scrap was seemingly a loose cannon, and at times it could be hard to tell whether he was joking or serious. There's one famous clip from many vlogs that MOB shot around this time where Scrap shoots at a head with what appears to be a BB gun. But seriously, in the streets of Chicago, running up on someone like this could be very deadly. And sadly, Scrap's savage reputation may have ultimately caught up with him in the end. Something which, strangely, Scrap himself may well have anticipated, as his brother would later say in one interview.
But I told him before he left out of the door, I'm like, bro, you gotta calm down, bro. Ain't in this store for what you doing, but life, but definitely in jail. And I told him that. Promise before he walked out the door. He looked at me in my eyes. He said, I know I'm gonna die anyway. I see it coming. I promise you. He said his exact words the day he left out of the house and he died. Literally.
Damn.
As Ruger has also mentioned, Scrap had actually been shot not once, but twice in the 2 weeks leading up to his death.
My brother got shot 2 different occasions before he just died. Before he died in 2014.
What the fuck?
And within 2 weeks.
You got shot back to back, bro. You let him catch you slipping a third time? Damn.
So 3 occasions. The third one was the one he died.
Strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You out of there, bro.
Hitting his in his leg, in his thigh. Over some goofy, but he got shot. You feel me? And it went in and out. It kind of healed up a little bit, fast. He was walking. Then he got hit in his chest. But we like 4, 5, 6 days later, in his chest, came out his arm, went straight in and out. it kind of healed up a little fast. He felt like he can go right back out. He kept going back out there in them streets, bro.
After the second shooting, he even proudly posed for a picture, brandishing his rifle and showing off his wounds. Scrap was seemingly not scared of getting shot or killed, and he felt the
the fuck they shoot from? What angle? Like from the front and it went in? I don't know.
Desire to remain in the streets until the bitter end. On the 7th of June, Scrap was out on the 5600 block of South Warbush Avenue in the early hours of the morning. He was with a 20-year-old man in an alleyway when a black Dodge Charger with all tinted windows would pull up. A towel was apparently used to cover the vehicle's license plate, and the shooters were seemingly planning to catch their target and get away as quickly as possible. Both Scrap and his friend were sprayed with bullets and hit multiple times before that car fled the scene, and Scrap would reportedly die at the scene, whilst his friend would be taken to Stroger Hospital in critical condition. Just 3 years after the murder of Lil Steve, Scrap had been gunned down less than 1 mile away from where Steve's life was taken. And although his killer has never been caught, many people on the internet have argued that members of 600 were behind the hit, with Just Blow being mentioned as one of the potential shooters. Later the same morning of Scrap's murder, Just Blow would tweet that he was smoking on Scrap, to which someone would reply, laughing how he should at least wait a bit before dissing somebody who had just been killed a few hours before. He would also allegedly post a video of himself being on 600's hood near the site of Scrap's murder scene on the night leading up to his death.
On the block all night.
It's even believed that Just Blow, formerly Justo, took on this new nickname shortly after the killing of Scrap. However, one alternative rumor would circulate, suggesting that the killer was actually another 600 member, Lil Boo. According to this theory, it couldn't be Just Blow, as Take Capone would later openly claim in Instagram comments that Just Blow had actually never killed anyone from MOB. Take Capone seemingly knew what had happened, and months after the death of Scrap, he would tweet taunting MOB and claiming that nobody had been killed in retaliation after Scrap's murder, and implying 600 were responsible. Tay would also explain in a Cam Capone interview that ultimately Scrap had done something that had 600 on his ass forever, likely the murder of Lil Steve.
Say for instance, like before he ended up doing what he doing, if a mother like would have caught Scrap, he probably would have, depending on who it is, he probably would have given him a pass. Like, I knew you before this. You feel what I'm saying? But on with your homies, you feel me? But Scrap ended up doing something that had him had 600 on his ass forever. You know what I'm saying? And it was just it was up after that, and he ended up getting whacked. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, the streets caught up with him.
Now you were GD anthem.
They hit to a lot of people.
Ruger.
So he ended up becoming one of them victims of the streets, but it's like, before all that, it's like, he was gonna be a victim to somebody, but it was just like, it's probably that no one before this probably would have been like, you know.
However, it's also largely
what else do we gotta fucking talk about, bro? It's 3 hours left, bro.
Scrap, and many have suggested
2 hours left.
Alternative theory that an unrelated gang called Shields may well be responsible. Shields is a gangster disciple of the Cobra gang set from around 57th and Shields in the Inglewood neighborhood, which is right on the other side of the Dan Ryan Expressway that goes from the south side, only a few blocks away from MOB's hood. Now, relatively little is known about this set other than the fact that they have a long-lasting war with MOB, as well as 600's ally, Lamron, which is also located in Inglewood. Now, many people believe that Shields were responsible for Scrap's death due to the fact that MOB members would post GDK for Scrap around the time of the killing. Moreover, Shields rapper Khalifa Waymo would dedicate a diss track to MOB, and particularly their top rappers Ruger and Lil Mo, where he would rap, "The funniest thing I ever saw was Scrap begging for his life," implying that he was present when Scrap was killed. Shields member Loney B would also chime in, claiming that Shields was responsible in YouTube comments supposedly from his personal account, where he would reply to a comment querying why Shields
Low, stop it. We caught Scrap in that alley. What the fuck?
Murder when they thought,
why would y'all kill him if y'all wasn't into it with him?
600 were
bro, why the motherfucker so much,
him commenting,
bro?
"Lol, stop it, we caught Scrap in that alley." After literally admitting that it was his gang who committed the murder, he would then go on to accuse...
I know you sound like the police, but Scrap, you know the truth now, LMA.
The other commenter of sounding like the police with their questions. Now, one commenter would ask why people thought that 600 were responsible, to which he would reply that it's only because 600 were MOB's biggest ops. Now, this will be the same account where he would post the song Scrap From My Plug, another diss song that's obviously all about smoking on Scrap. Another rapper from Shields, Michi, would also rap about the murder of Scrap in his song Ain't For None, by rapping how Scrap got caught up in that alley and he made it back. The music video for this was then removed from YouTube before it was re-uploaded years later. But as nobody has been alley,
Scrap got caught up in that alley, he ain't make it back.
The music video
did all that for 250 views.
This was then removed from YouTube before it was re-uploaded years later. But as nobody has been officially charged or convicted for this murder, we might never know for sure who was responsible. There's been many misleading social media posts from Scrap's family regarding the murder, such as Scrap's blood brother commenting on Facebook claiming that 600 were responsible for shooting his brother after posting that Rondo number 9 is lucky he's in jail. On the other hand, Scrap's father would post his Facebook story in 2018 dissing Shields, making many think that that must be related to the murder. After Scrap's death, some members of MOB would begin referring to themselves as Scrap Gang in his honor, and due to the notoriety that Scrap's name carried in the streets, Scrap Gang would eventually become a name that many of the young members would rep exclusively, in a similar way to how O-Block eventually begun to replace the earlier name for Wick City that was mainly used for members of the Black Disciples from Parkway Gardens, but with both names essentially meaning the same thing.
Alright, I get a lot of stuff on the internet about MOB and Scrap Gang. What's the difference between the two?
It's no difference.
No difference at all?
It's all the same.
All the same? Okay. Same area and everything?
Same area, same everything. It's just more so it was a younger person that died, you know what I'm saying? So the younger people had a different feel for scrap, and it was like a scrap gang, like, you know, just like everybody else do.
However, some older members of MOB seemingly don't share the same view, suggesting that only the real members go by MOB only. Despite Scrap's name staying alive even amongst the younger members like Lil Mo, who were still just kids when he was killed, the sad reality was that once again, another person had lost their life to this ever-escalating gang war. And unfortunately, things were far from over. And already, by the end of that same month, another local gang known for their bitter beef with 600 would end up losing one of their members to the streets too.
Murder 051 Polo.
051 Polo, real name Michael Patton, was a 17-year-old boy from the 051 neighborhood. He would also seemingly rep 051 Young Money the gang, although he was likely more of a hang-around member rather than somebody who was actively sliding with the gang looking to kill ops. Sadly, Polo himself would end up being caught up in the feud between 051 and their enemies, with tragic consequences. On the 30th of June 2014, Polo was walking with a 15-year-old friend around his neighborhood on the 600 block of East 50th Place. There, a black van pulled up alongside the pair before having a short conversation. Then, a passenger inside that van would open fire on the teens, hitting Polo in the chest and his 15-year-old friend in the right arm, and sadly, Polo would die at the scene. The aftermath of this horrific shooting was actually witnessed by a photojournalist called Vincent D. Johnson, who was actually watching the rainstorm that was going on outside of his apartment window when he saw a young man in distress calling for help. Upon approaching the scene, he would actually notice Polo.
Where the fuck they be living at, bro? In the burbs? Why the fuck is this man on the same block that fucking...
This horrific
fucking
shooting was
Polo
actually
that
witnessed by a photojournalist called Vincent D. Johnson, who was actually watching the rainstorm that was going on outside of his apartment.
Dude watching a fucking rainstorm and just witnessed the fucking murder.
He saw a young man in distress calling for help. Upon approaching the scene, he would actually notice Polo was lying face up in a gutter and immediately called the emergency services. Surrounding Polo were two other teenagers, one of them appearing traumatized, pacing back and forth and recalling, "They shot my brother." But whilst waiting outside for the police to arrive, Johnson would unfortunately witness Polo take his last breaths, later describing these final moments in a moving article that he wrote for the Chicago Sun-Times. After the arrival of the police, Vincent then decided to go back inside his apartment to get his camera. He would return, capturing chilling images of Polo's body covered in a sheet, drenched in the go back inside his apartment to get his camera. He would return.
When I first walked out the door, part of me thought about going back inside and getting my camera. It wasn't until the police tape was set and a blanket placed over the teen that the scene began to look like crime scene I was used to. Bro, motherfucker's out of touch with reality, bro. This man walked out the outside, he's like, damn, someone's dead right there, bro. But I could get the 4K footage. I could go back in and grab my camera. It's right upstairs. Let me help him real quick. And now, like, oh, the cops is here. Now I don't feel as bad. Let me go get my camera. Start snapping his pictures, bro. Dude face up, fucking dead on the scene. He waited for bro to die and then take his fucking picture. Bro.
Capturing chilling images of Polo's body covered in a sheet, drenched in the rain, as detectives combed the scene during the storm. These events are a stark reminder that members of these gangs...
Shit, bro got no PTSD from that shit, bro. He live in Chicago, bro. The first thing he realized was not that someone just died right in front of me. It was... I should record this. I should get my camera.
Gangs could lose their lives anytime, any place. Whilst many of the neighborhoods, like much of Washington Park and Woodlawn, are overwhelmingly populated by some of the poorest inhabitants of Chicago, other neighborhoods nearby, such as 051's hood on the northeast corner of Washington Park, are actually slightly more gentrified. This means that you might have an established journalist living amongst some of the most notorious gangs in the city. Now, this is partly due to this area being slightly closer to downtown, along with ongoing...
Bro, I seen fucking hood fucking vlog of Vaughn. He live out west, bro. He live in the fucking suburbs, bro. His shit is suburban as fuck, bro. His shit newly paved everything, bro. I'm like, bro, these houses is nice as fuck, bro.
Gentrification of many of the hoods in Southside Chicago, but also due to the fact that the University of Chicago has its main campus covering a large portion of the neighborhood on the east side of Washington Park, called Hyde Park. Therefore, while the Washington Park neighborhood on the west side of the park is over 90% black, with a median household income of $30K, Hyde Park on the east side is much more racially diverse, boasting a much higher median income, almost double that of the west side. Because of this specific location of 051's neighborhood, relatively close to both downtown and the University of Chicago campus, as well as the surrounding middle-class neighborhood of Hyde Park, fans of Chicago drill have even written long theories about how gentrification and demographic changes may well affect 051's ability to recruit new members in the future. But back to the story. Following the murder of Polo, 051...
Bro, you gotta be fucking kidding me, bro. The impact of demographic change on why Young Money and their ability to recruit. These motherfuckers on Reddit are going through, man, I don't know if Young Money can keep it going for the years. Like, I don't think they can recruit. They might have to move their block down a couple. They need more recruits, bro. They're not gonna be able to keep growing. They might go extinct. I don't know what's gonna happen with them in the future. Like, what the fuck, bro?
May well affect.
Look at this shit, bruh. He got a fucking paragraph. He wrote a fucking essay on this shit, bruh. How fucking Young Money's gonna go extinct in the next 10 years because of gentrification, bruh.
051's ability to recruit new members in the future. But back to the story. Following the murder of Polo, 051 members would tweet their tributes to him, and rumors would circulate about who well may have been behind the murder.
Making a whole presentation. You might as well fucking get the fucking go in front of the class and fucking
with some
present
600
that
members
shit,
being
bro.
prime suspects in these theories.
Make a
However, one
slideshow
particular
on that
tweet from
bitch.
051 Driller in
Record it.
2015
Put it in
questioning
Reddit.
who else had been killed for Get Back for LA Capone besides an innocent cab driver would make it seem as if
Hmm.
Polo's death may well have been unrelated to 051's beef with 600. The
Oh,
following
God, it
months
gets
would
projected.
remain
That's what I was
relatively
trying to think
quiet
of.
for 600, but unfortunately, at the end of 2014, the streets
God,
would once again become
slideshow.
deadly, and another young man would lose his life. This time, the person would end up being somebody who had ties to both sides of the war.
Little Nick.
Lil Nick, or Nico, real name Nicholas Campbell, was a 15-year-old kid from the Washington Park neighborhood. More specifically, he lived around the 5800 block of King Drive, which is right next to the hoods of both MOB and 600.
MOB.
Growing up, Nick would also seemingly be close with both members of MOB and 600 and can be seen in photos with guys like E-Day, as well as with guys from MOB. In fact, in January 2014, Nick would post to Facebook explaining how he was going to beat up a guy called Derek, which would start a long back and forth between him and another boy named Trayvon. At one point during the back and forth, Trayvon would point out how Nick had previously been claiming to be 600 and MOBK, but since switched sides and was now affiliated with MOB, to which Nick would reply saying that he'd been MOB forever. Nick was also seemingly close with members of STL and would make a tribute post to none other than KI after she was allegedly killed by King Von from O Block in April 2014. But then in May, Nick would once again post on his Facebook, this time tagging that he was with a member of 600, Young Famous, aka Hassan Moore. And once again, next month in June, after MOB tagging that he was with a member of 600, Young Famous, aka Hassan Moore. Once again, next month in June, after MOB Scrap had been killed, Nick would often post tributes to him, often saying how he was also Scrap or Die. But in November, Nick would make several cryptic posts. In the first one, he would say that people wanted to get at him because he messes with his own family. He would also end this post by saying that he's F57, F Travis, Scrap or Die. This was a reference to that other nearby set called Shields, who had rumored to have been the one.
God, we're gonna stop. Now we're gonna stop right before the 40600. This is the last one. Like 2 minutes.
Involved in the murder of Scrap. This would start a back and forth with a member of MOB who would question if Nick was now repping MOB, to which Nick would reply that he will always be Scrap or Die. This would make members of MOB threaten to catch Nick, to which Nick would respond by saying that he was going to smoke them. Nick would then make another post saying that the same people that he'd grown up with had switched sides on him, tagging 2 MOB members in the post. This would start another long back and forth where one of the MOB members would say how Nick used to be MOB crazy, but then flip back to 600 many times, and saying that this kind of talk would get Nick killed. To this, Nick would respond that he hadn't flipped, they just thought that he was 600, to which the MOB member would reply saying that Nick is 600. And then, about a month later in December, Nick would be out in the far southern suburb of Harvey, where he would be at a place that was once an illegal strip club that had ultimately been busted and shut down some months earlier. Allegedly, Nick was outside that location, but not just with anyone, but members of 600, particularly Just Blow. In the early morning hours of December the 7th, Nick would seemingly be caught off guard in the parking lot of that abandoned club. So
bro is 15.
would turn up, shooting Nick multiple times, and he would ultimately later pass away in hospital. That very same day, one of the members of MOB who had been fighting with Nick just a month earlier would even post a tribute to him, saying that even though Nick had been messing with the ops, it was still RIP. And some of Nick's friends would even start their own set in honor of him, which they named Nico Gang, and their territory being the area around where Nick lived. Meanwhile, Nico Gang has actually kept a good relationship with 600, and in the years following Nick's death, members of 600 have even posted tributes to him. This relationship has been rumored to have formed due to the fact that Nico Gang actually has heavy beefs with MOB, with it ultimately being MOB who likely killed Nick. However, in 2016, one of the members of Nico Gang would reply that actually it wasn't the ops that killed his homies. But whatever the case, later that year, 600 Breezy would post that Nick's killer had been killed while shouting out Nico Gang. Nick's story is a cautionary tale, and it just shows how attempting to be cool with both sides of a gang war is a fine line, and very few people can survive.
What side is he
was a
on?
turbulent year for 600, with C-Day, Rondo, and D Rose being taken off the streets for good. More murders would also take place, with people on both sides losing friends. The stock reminder in the gang wars, there can never really be ends. But with new members getting more recognition in music, such as 600 Breezy making his debut, it would seem that there would finally be a potential way to escape the streets. And soon, 600 Breezy would have a golden opportunity to escape the cycle of violence that took the lives of so many of his friends, like LA and Rondo, who could have used music as a way out. However, in the end, that opportunity would end up being largely squandered, and starting in 2015, 600 would suffer more devastating losses in the streets, starting to be what many believe to be the downfall of 600.
Alright, we get off this now. So we got 2 hours and 10 minutes left on this. I done ate, smoke, took a good ass nap, and Trap is still up talking. My guy is the MVP. Chilling, type shit. You know someone's dying when Ross uses their legal name. Nah, no cap, bruh. You just know someone dying.